Bruce, you want to go ahead, call the roll? We'll get started, and just let me know if Ned shows up. I mean, I may hear the pop in.
Yep.
And Karen comes in, and we'll seat her as the alternate tonight with Robert being gone.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right, roll. Robert Hannon,
Here.
Richard Berlandi,
Here.
David Fox,
Here.
Robert Eisner, Neil Kelsey,
Present.
Mark Simpson,
Here.
Ned Stachin, and Karen Vibert. All right, Chair.
And we have enough for a quorum, so let's go ahead and get
Yep.
started. First item on the agenda is the Town of Farmington, Plainville Avenue site.
Yep, still on hold on that one. The town has been meeting with a consultant to put together the package for the design and the other permitting at this point. So
Yeah, one of the things that we may need to take into consideration on this is because there's an application before us.
Mhm.
We may be looking at getting an extension.
yes, I mentioned that in the agenda review. We have to talk, and we may at some point, if it's not done, depending on the permitting, we may have to just withdraw the application
Right.
and then come
Yep.
back at some point.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're on the same page for that one. Okay.
All right.
Okay, next item on the agenda. So I'm assuming we're just going to table that till the next meeting. We can do something at that point in time.
Exactly.
Okay, next item on the agenda is Farmington West Estates
Who's
LP.
got their hands up? Hold on.
I have a question for you, Bruce, on your first item on the review.
Yeah, hold on one second. I've got the town manager's office on. Anna. Oh,
It's me,
oh,
Dylan.
that's
Oh,
Dylan.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry.
Sorry about that.
All right. Oh, to the pan. All right. Sorry, Chair. Good. Go ahead.
Okay, no, my question was, I want to follow up on note number 1 you had on the review. Just so that I'm clear as to what was going on, because it said no new information received as of 10/13/23. I know the site walk was performed, and I apologize for not being there, but I'm still probably a month out, maybe a little bit longer before I'm off some HIP protocol and I can actually do some of that work again. But the applicant would like to review with inland wetlands before addressing Town of Farmington comments and changes to the plan. So I'm just not exactly sure what you were referring to on that.
Well, I think what happened was the commissioner or the applicant did not want to make any changes to the plans based on our comments until they heard from the commission after the site walk is what it was.
Okay.
So
Okay.
they just wanted to get everyone's input before they spend time and money dumping into comments if you guys did not like certain other aspects or whatever. So
Okay, no, I just wanted to make sure that I understood where your comment was coming from. So no, that's fine. Thank you.
all right. We have attorney Ziogas.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, thank you for reconvening this hearing regarding Farmington West Estates Limited Partnership. As we indicated previously, this is the remaining portion of the project that is unbuilt, and it consists of approximately 12.88 acres and is designed with infrastructure and roadway systems to accommodate 58 standalone units known as Phase 4 Farmington West Estates. Previously, we had presented to this commission our vision for what the plan would look like. In reviewing that, the commission had given us comments, probably a month and a half ago, regarding some of the issues that you felt were pertinent, indicating that while you were willing to work with us, you needed us to at least look at this plan and see if we could come up with some revisions that would help mitigate the amount of disturbance in the wetlands area. What we've done in the interim is to look at this plan, and in the 4 wetland areas that we're talking about, which is wetlands A, B, C, and D, all isolated in blue on the map in front of you, the following is being proposed. On the west side, next to wetlands A, where we had a disturbance of approximately 3,000 square feet, which was a temporary disturbance, we've reduced that disturbance to 0. So we've gotten out of the wetlands area completely on the west side of the project in wetlands A. On the east side of the project, between lots number 103 and 104, we have again reduced a disturbance from 983 square feet to 0 square feet there as well. So we've eliminated the disturbance in that pocket of wetlands. Third, there was a disturbance between lots number 99 and 100, which basically went from 310 square feet. We were able to reduce that to 253 square feet. And on the east side, to the rear of lot number 96, that remained unchanged at a disturbance of 93 square feet of disturbance. The final area was lots number 94 and 95, where we had 903 square feet of disturbance, and we were able to reduce that to 450 square feet of disturbance. So what we were able to accomplish with the revisions to the print was basically a reduction from a total of 2,289 square feet to 796 square feet, a reduction of approximately 65 or 66%. It's a very significant reduction. And in addition to that, in wetland section B, we are mitigating the loss of the wetlands at a ratio of approximately 2 to 1. So we're going to create 1,527 square feet of mitigated wetlands in that area. George Logan is online to discuss with you the wetlands boundaries and the wetlands areas themselves. I know that Andrew Quirk and Seth Bavino from Kratzer and Jones are here as well to discuss the design of the detention basins and the mitigation area. So George, I want to turn it over to you first, and if you can go through your report with the commission.
Sure, be glad to do that. Hello, everyone. This is George Logan, REMA Ecological Services. Bruce, could you, let's start, say, with figure 2 that was attached to my report, if you can find that.
Give me a second.
I love pictures. There we go. I don't know what page it is, but it's probably somewhere around 20.
Yeah. These plans are so big. Yeah, the presentation plans are a little big, so I've got to try to find it. Let's say figure 1 you said, or figure 2?
Let's go to figure 2. 1 is just, that's 1. So let's go to the next one. Okay, so, all right. This is probably the most recent aerial photograph that actually shows something. We have a 23, but the quality is not very good. In yellow is the project area, if you will. So you can kind of see what's happening in March 22. And the interesting thing is that it was about that time that I actually started wetland delineations. I think my first time out there was February 23, 2022. Then I came back in March 10th. So very close to when the picture was taken. I don't know if I can see myself in there, but anyhow, and then of course we had some August of 2022, I was back in there based, and you've seen some of the photos that I've produced, and then I came back one final time in June. So I've hit summer, spring, and kind of winter, I guess. If we can go to figure A, which is
8 or A?
A. There we go.
Yeah.
So this is sort of a pictorial of, and I believe this might be a 2019 aerial photograph. I should have put it down, but at any rate, so these are the wetland delineations, and I want to introduce the difficulties of the wetland delineations here because of the past disturbance that has happened. Probably the easiest wetland to delineate was Wetlands D, which is the big area there that's forested. Wetland A, I started, as you can see down there. There's now a house just about over there, and it was a little difficult for me to figure things out because when I was out there, based on the photos that you might have seen, this was when I started. The delineation was February. There was a lot of water around, a lot of saturation, kind of difficult to distinguish exactly. And so what ended up happening, as you probably have heard, those of you that were out on the field walk with us, is that I've made an adjustment to flags A1 through A9, which is exactly that part, which is where I had started. And I guess by the time I got up to the rubble wall, it was much more clear as to what was going on. So I've made some adjustments for that, and you'll probably see it in a subsequent plan. But this wetland A, obviously there's another side to it, is a ditched, I guess you'd call it an intermittent watercourse. It's channelized. The upper portion, there's some twin pipes that come through the discharge water, probably a little bit from our system, but also from the north, as you probably know. Not too far up from this photograph, there is Autumn Way, the community associated with Autumn Way. That was begun to be constructed in 2008, and probably by about 2011, 2012 was completely in. It does have a detention basin, but the volume of water has obviously increased. That's coming down through that area. Now, so that's one wetland. Then we'll talk about wetland B in a few minutes, and then wetland C. And you probably, one of the things you probably saw from my report is that there seems to be a separation from wetland B to wetland C, even though it's quite obvious when you're out in the field that wetland B overflows to wetland C and then overflows, if you will, or goes through the rubble wall to wetland D. I guess we could have made wetland C and wetland D one, but there was enough of a distinction between the character of the two wetlands that I figured I should separate it just for discussion purposes. Now, if you go to the next aerial photograph, this is 2008, and I think this is quite instructive. At the time when the rest of the phases were being built, or at least probably a couple, this area was cleared of vegetation into a great part. It was used as a construction yard, and you can kind of see to the right of where it says subject site that there's a haul road that goes out towards 177. And there's an area there that's probably denuded where some construction material probably was put. And then even you can even see that there's a haul road through the northwestern corner of what I've delineated as wetland D. And you can kind of see that it has sort of a wet character because you can almost see the tracks. So that portion of wetland D, so let's say the northwestern corner and the entire western side, as far as concerns what we're doing here, has been disturbed. So the delineations there were kind of sketchy a little bit, and as you probably heard when we were out there, I was able to kind of take a second look recently, and I added 3 flags in an area which we're not coming close to. And I want to say it was around D62 and 63. And I think we pointed that out during the field walk. And one of the reasons that we kind of delayed our site walk was because with all the rain that we had, that site looked like an entire wetland. So I wanted to be sure that I hadn't missed something. So I went back and dug holes and evaluated that area, and I ended up adding a little probably 200 to 250 square feet of a wetland area. So if you go to the next photograph, which is I think C, this is 2004. Again, you still see the clearing with the various haul roads, and it's still, you know, it's still obvious. The signatures are quite obvious. You see the separation between wetland B and C, and you see the disturbance in corner of wetland D. All right, one more photograph. I think that's the last one I'll show you, which is D. And this kind of gives you, this was surprising to me because 1965, well, I guess I was alive, so not for many years, but obviously there was a farm here. This entire area was denuded, even wetland D, which has trees right now. If you go out there, they're 12, 14 inches in diameter on average. There was nothing. So, which is that southeastern corner. There was a farm there, and you can see that there was disturbance, and you can see the wet signature of where wetland B and C are right through there. So let's go back to figure A. Okay, so character. I would say that all three wetlands, A, B, and C, are what you would call disturbance wetlands. Obviously, looking at the 1965 aerial photograph, you might think that wetland D is a disturbance wetland, but it is an except it's western. Well, for the recent disturbance, it's his western boundary, if you will, which has been disturbed. So wetland, I was out there today for wetland A, and it doesn't look like anything. It doesn't even look like a wetland, really, because there's been no water. So this only becomes obvious and prominent when it rains and we get a lot of volume of water coming through, which would happen during a rainstorm. It does have wetland soils, even though those are disturbed. It has wetland vegetation, so no issues there as far as calling it a regulated area. Wetland B is interesting. I think it's to a large extent, a large portion of it has always been a wetland based on soils, but then there's been disturbance along its edge. Probably some of it has been reduced over time, but some of it has also increased because we have a discharge from, and you can almost see there the little finger that goes all the way up to Route 177. I think it's the 340 contour that goes all the way. So there's water, that's the line that's heavy. Water enters there, both from the impervious surfaces of 177 and also from across the way. There's a small watershed on the other side of the road. Yeah, so you can see the 340 contour. I think, yep, that's the one. So in essence, this wetland has been, to some extent, polishing, if you will, the water that's coming off 177, that portion that flows there. And then, of course, C does the same thing, and probably D also does some of that. So as I was looking at the soils, I noticed that I was looking at soils that were very transitional. So probably to some extent that wetland has been influenced by additional water that's come off from the watershed, but to some extent. So the wetland that's the largest and the one that's the most valuable on site, even though each one of them are isolated as wetland D, that has a forested character, seasonally flooded. Diversity of vegetation there is pretty good, but also wetland B, and you've seen some of the photos that I provided, are some good floristic diversity, and if you're there during certain times of the year, it's pretty nice. Looking, have tall New York ironweed, etc. So if you go back on my report to table 1, which is the functions and value analysis, maybe we can look at that quickly. And then we can talk about disturbances and mitigation. Okay, there you go. So again, this is sort of what we always do, which is sort of an informal assessment. We use the rationales of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers descriptive method that seemingly everyone uses. These are the functions and values, functions that are intrinsic, obviously, to wetlands, whether humans are there or not. And then, of course, values is what we derive as humanity, educational, scientific value, for instance, recreation, etc. Wetland A, because of the fact that it's receiving a lot of volume, and including from impervious surfaces, has 2 principal functions. You can see them there, and the one that's important is sediment toxic and pathogen retention, so it's doing something. Wetland B also does that. As we said, it receives water from 177, but also because of its character, the fact that there's a lot of vegetation volume there, especially during the spring, it also transforms nutrients. And I threw in visual aesthetics because I kind of like that wetland, I guess, especially the meadow component, because it has 3 components, and I've failed to mention that. So on the northwestern section, maybe about 20% of it is a young red maple forest, and it transitions into a scrub shrub area, typical species you'd see like silky dogwood. Unfortunately, some multiflora rose too, and then the meadow. So meadow looks very nice. Wetland C, again, very small, there's not much there. I think the only time that it looks like a wetland is when you get overflow from wetland B. And obviously wetland D is the biggest one, and that has 4 principal functions. Now, if we go back to maybe the plan, the development plan, you can leave my report, or we're done with the report unless you want to see pictures.
No, give me a second.
I don't know what that is.
No, that's a different application. Give me a second.
Oh, I like that.
So this plan, is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, I guess that's good. So you've heard of some of the disturbances that are being initially proposed. So there's been sort of evolution of direct impacts, filling basically of wetlands, and we, as of today, we've more than quite a reduction, more than half of the reduction that we had before. The main ones are to de-system, de-wetland for those 2 lots down there. But again, as you might have seen in both from the aerial photographs and from the time we were out there, that's already a disturbed wetland. It's not, it doesn't have a character that would we say, oh, that's a very valuable wetland that we're losing. We shouldn't. This is all scrub shrub. There's invasive species there. There's a few trees, obviously, but it's been disturbed before. Wetland C, we have a little bit of a disturbance up there because we're coming across with a driveway, and we have to get a pipe obviously through. We had a bigger disturbance up north that was eliminated. So you have a couple lots there. We have reduced the impact by more than half there for those 2 lots. You can see how the houses were turned, a different model, so we still have a little bit of a backyard. And then on the wetland A, that's been all eliminated. And I think what you will see for the first, say, southerly, the 3 units, can't even see what that says, but anyhow, those 3 that will have a little more room to the actual wetland based on what I've looked at even today. And the pushing down of the wetland boundary, and again, I was checking the soils, even though they're disturbed, is probably the most is 12 feet, and the minimum least is 6, 7 feet. So there will be a little more room there. And as you remember in the report, one of the things that I had said, and I'll talk about the real mitigation in a moment, is for those lots which were either encroaching in wetlands, like the ones we talked about, which is 90, oh boy, I can't read the numbers. The southern three there next to D.
Where? Yep.
Right. So once those, if the commission sees fit to approve that minor disturbance there, one of the things I said in my report is that we go back and then based on what the conditions are, we will make recommendations for some real native buffer plantings, so clonal species like Viburnum lentago, nannyberry, that sweet pepper bush is one of those, to increase the buffering. But in whole, in my view, if you look just at the direct wetland impact, which has now much been reduced, it's not going to really change the functions and values of these wetlands. They're still going to be functioning just pretty much the same way they are today. So that's the good news. However, wetland impact is wetland impact, and everyone understands that. So in a little bit, we will have our engineer bring up a plan that shows, when he talks about the stormwater management, you'll see that we have revised our wetland mitigation. As you see that little blue, light blue detention basin up there, and that had several purposes. Main ones were we needed a little more water quantity control, and so that's part of it, and that has been expanded also. We also wanted a little more water quality control, so that wetland B and would have a little more polishing before the water enters from 177 and across. And then to the south of that blue signature, right up against the blue of wetland B, we have now a separate area, so we don't double dip, if you will. We have a little bit of a difference between the water quantity, water quality, detention basin, and something that we're calling wetland mitigation, even though both will be wetlands, both the detention basin, if you will. And in my report, there were some pictures there, and I had pointed out to that area where we're mitigating that it's basically, for the most part, a goldenrod field. It's an upland moist goldenrod field. And I thought that would probably be the best place to expand the wet meadow. Yeah. You can go back to the report if you will.
Okay.
If you will, I mean, that's fine. And I forget which pictures there are, but probably towards the end. But anyhow, continuing on, so that's my assessment on the direct wetland impacts, that they're relatively, I'll tell you when to stop. Keep going. Those are the winter pictures that you can tell. Keep going. Oh. All right, there we go. One more. Keep going. Okay, there we go. So photo number 19, that's the field that I'm talking about. It not exactly in the front, but towards the middle and the back. That's the goldenrod field where we will be expanding, creating a mitigation. And honestly, the wetland mitigation, and this is a number that we really typically see around Connecticut commissions, usually require 1.5 to 1 to 2 to 1 for most disturbances, and there are exceptions, obviously. And so that's what we're hoping to achieve here. Now, you don't have a specific plan for the wetland mitigation because it's hot off the press, if you will, and we'll show that to you in a moment. But there will be the requisite detailed implementation notes of how this would be done and planting tables. And as I've done before for this commission, I will even show you where things are going to be planted, generally speaking. So you have an idea, okay, these are trees, these are shrubs, and these are the herbaceous species. So that's the mitigation for the direct impacts. And as far as the indirect impacts, physical impacts, obviously the categories of sanitation, erosion control. There's a great plan for that, complies with the standards, the state standards. So I'm not concerned there at all. As far as hydrological impacts, that's not the case either. We're balancing things pretty well. So we're not going to either dewatering and making something wetter. And the final thing is water quality. And again, the engineers have done a good job in making sure that we don't, that we clean the water before we let it leave the site or leave this portion of the site, if you will. So that's kind of my quick run through a few things from my report, and I'll be around for any questions once we are done with our engineering presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, George. I appreciate it. Andrew Quirk is online. He's our engineer from Kratzer and Jones. And Andrew, perhaps you can go through the 2 detention areas and the design for the mitigation area as well.
Sure. Good evening, Chair, Commission members, and staff. My name is Andrew Quirk, professional engineer and principal with Kratzer Jones and Associates. Bruce, if possible, could we start with the stormwater management report, page 8? I'm not sure if that's uploaded there, but that might be the best place to start.
Grab it here.
Should be called full report. That's usually, yeah, page 8 would be a good place to start. That's where we started our design. Yeah. This is the overall drainage plan for all the phases of Farmington West. And this was the starting point of our design. And phase 4 is in the center portion of this area. And it shows the roadway system, the lots, and there were pipe connections to the surrounding pipe network for the whole overall development. So when we began the design, this is how we started, and we had a pipe drainage system that connected to this overall system, and looked at that as a starting point of the design. And then we met with town staff, and it was pretty clear that the town would be looking to address the conventional water quality and quantity issues for this phase alone. So then we changed the design to address those issues, and that's where this has been evolving. So now we have a stormwater management system that stands on its own just for phase 4 and addresses stormwater quality and quantity within that phase in and of itself. If we could go to page 6
of the drainage report.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah.
So with that, this is the existing drainage area, EX1. The site is about 12 acres. There's about 13 acres flowing through the site. So we looked at that as our starting point. On page 7 shows our proposed areas. Rather than having all of that 13-acre drainage area connect through Snowberry Lane at the bottom, we looked at, again, a standalone system for this phase. So we were able to divide it into the sub-watershed areas that are then managed before the discharge from the site. So of the total of 13.2 acres, 1A is 5.5 acres, and that goes to a detention basin that's in the middle of the project. We reconfigured the roadway system, realigned the lots, and created a stormwater basin in the middle of the development that takes nearly half of the entire development and manages it, much like you'd expect in any other subdivision or development, with a stormwater basin that addresses water quality and quantity. At the time of the submission, that was achieving 0 increase in runoff through the 25-year storm. We'll be looking to revise that per staff comments to try and see if we can address that through the 100-year storm. But I expect it'll look pretty much the same. It'll just have a slightly larger volume and modifications to the outfall. Then we also added a system for the PR proposed 1B, which is an additional 1.3 acres. That's an underground system that collects the remaining 1.3 acres towards the southwest prior to discharge from this subdivision area. That's just another opportunity to ensure that we're addressing stormwater quantity and quality before it leaves the site. Also, this development will be containing that water and addressing it rather than adding it to wetland A, and that water course or intermittent water course that we understand from town staff that at times has historically been issues with capacity in that swale area. So we're not exacerbating that situation at all. In fact, we're redirecting and about I believe it's 1.5 acres that we're redirecting and addressing through our own stormwater management plan. Then to the top right, northeast, is proposed 1C. This is an area that's primarily off-site. It's Route 177, Unionville Avenue, as well as an upland area, and there's a crossing through 177 that discharges onto our site. I isolated this area, which is approximately 2.7 acres. As George Logan mentioned, it was an opportunity to address stormwater quality as well as quantity prior to that wetland B, the higher quality wetland B system. That's runoff from both the state highway and upland area. So it's not all a polluted runoff, if you will. It is a cross culvert, but it does take in some of that runoff from the state highway. So at the time of this report, we had designed a combination stormwater basin and wetland mitigation. I'm going to get back to that in just a minute, where we have expanded that and also separated the detention component of that basin and the mitigation component into two separate areas. Then just finally, proposed 1D is just the remainder of the site that it does not go through detention, but in the modeling to ensure that everything from the site is addressed. That's the remaining area from the site, which is approximately 5 acres, primarily composed of wetland D. If we could now go to, I don't know what it's going to be called, but it's the mitigation sheet. I believe it's sheet D5 that was submitted just.
You want the alternates that you guys submitted this afternoon,
Yeah.
or are you looking for? Okay, I gotta open
Yes.
this up
Yeah,
separately.
I believe it's called sheet D5 and it has today's date.
I have a separate folder for those.
Okay. Let's-
Oh, here, alternates.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Gotcha.
Great.
Email. What sheet you looking for? You said.
Sheet D5. This sheet, yes. Yeah, the full sheet would be great.
Yep.
So on this plan, in the black and white colors are the original plan, and then the colored is the modifications that we are describing that we would propose to address town comments, and then of course any feedback from the commission. So at the time, this was a detention and wetland mitigation plan, and it was advised that we try to separate those two functions so as to better serve each of those independently. So the red contours show that we would flatten and broaden the area coming off of Unionville Avenue. So those are very gentle 6-to-1 slopes. So that way we can get this to be more of one complete, more of a natural meadow looking area. 6-to-1 slopes are very flat, easily seeded, planted. We could accommodate any of those plantings in that area. It would have wetland functions, as George Logan explained, but its other primary purpose would be to take that runoff from the cross culvert of 177 It would function as a detention basin in the sense that it would hold stormwater during events and release it slowly to attenuate the peak flows. The outlet was proposed towards wetland flag 86, and now we are, which is towards the bottom left, to modify that and have the outlet from this stormwater basin go to an area that I've outlined in green that would be a wetland mitigation area. This would sit lower than the stormwater basin and would be roughly about 6 inches or roughly the same elevation as the wetlands. Flags 80, B8 was 335.8 and B9 was 335. So we split the difference at 335.5. So this sits down at the wetland elevation. We probably would also incorporate some micro pools just to allow more of a variety of proposed plantings and a variety of functions, some 12 to 18-inch pools within the bottom. But this would be a created wetland at the discharge from the stormwater basin that if it were to overflow, it would be hydrologically connected to the larger wetland area. The plantings would be in harmony with the existing wetlands and basically an expanded and created wetland area similar to the adjacent wetland B. The proposed area is 1,527 square feet, which I don't have the numbers offhand, but I believe is roughly twice the revised and reduced disturbance area. So those are the modifications that we proposed, both the plan that you have and the modifications that we are proposing. I think at this point, maybe I'll see, Jim, if Seb wants to add something more with the alternatives or what
Sure.
else we would like to do for the presentation.
Seth, if you would.
Yes, can you hear me?
So, yeah, Seb, just hold on one second. Just for the commission, these plans that they're showing you right here, we just got in this afternoon. So these haven't even gone out to you guys yet. So if you're looking at these, scratching your head, wondering where these were in the package, we just got these. All right. Go ahead, Seb.
Go ahead. Thank you. My name is Seb Bovino, planner with Kratzer Jones. Bruce, I would like to show these plans that I sent you this afternoon, particularly the existing condition map and then the overall subdivision map. First, the existing condition map that shows the wetlands area. I believe I sent you one of those. They're colored.
Which one? I don't
Okay, well, we'll use
put everything together. I mean, what are you?
I'm looking for the existing condition map that shows the wetlands area, the existing, and then there's a represented on that map, there's a wetland area that we are disturbing. But
This right here. This one?
one here presents it just as well. So
Okay.
as you can see on the north side of wetland C, the area in red, that's the area that we're disturbing there. And then on the west side of wetlands D is that small area, two small areas that we're proposing disturbance. And on the west side, next to wetland there, we don't have any disturbance at this time. Also, I'd like to show the individual plot plans samples, how we achieve the construction of these homes where we are close to wetlands. So Bruce, if you could show lot 83, which is this one here. And basically what we're trying to do is the wall, the existing rubble wall is about 10, 12 foot wide in some areas. We'd like to remove those stones and then reutilize them to construct a more formal, shorter wall for each home in this area. And there is a representation of what the house will look like, the view, isometric view of the house and the patio and the wall. Yeah, I submitted to Bruce. Bruce, if you could bring that up.
Oh, the isometric. All right. Let me go jump into that one separate. Wetland day. This one here?
Yes. So what we're proposing is walkout basements. So the grade will not be changed much in the back of these homes because of the tight space that we have. And you'll have a small area for patio, additional space, and then a wall, a decorative wall, and then past that point, 3 feet away or so, plantings at the edge of the wetlands. And then you have the rest of it undisturbed. So that's a sample for this area. And then we have one for the eastern side, which is similar. It's a similar view.
Give me a second. Oh. You want the one on button B, right? That one there?
And yes, this is for house number 94. 95 will be same thing. So instead of a walkout basement, because the area is very flat there, we are proposing to have a patio area, then a wall that could actually be either a formal wall like this, or it could be scattered stones. It's up to the commission what they would like to see near the wetlands, with the signage, always to have signage indicating that the wetlands cannot be infringed upon. And we will have the plantings based on George Logan's planting plan. In addition to that, I would like to correct the record. Andrew, my partner, indicated that this is phase 4, and it's actually phase 6, and it's divided in multiple sections, phase 6, A, B, and so forth. We also propose an underground storage for each of these lots, most of these lots, to take the roof water, generally clean water, and recharge the groundwater. The center portion of this property and the west portion is sand and gravel materials, more previous materials. So we feel that they will function well in those areas. Those are the few things I wanted to say. The attorney and George and Andrew basically covered everything. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to address them.
Thank you, Sev. And commissioners, we understand that there's a lot of new material here, and we're not expecting anybody to digest it tonight. The whole purpose of this presentation was to try to demonstrate to the commission that we believe that by reducing the impacts by 2/3 down to 796 square feet, that this can qualify as an insignificant activity. And then we would request that this matter be placed on your agenda for a hearing based upon the presentation of new plans, which you've seen a portion of tonight. So that's the whole purpose of our presentation tonight, and we'd like to answer any questions. I think we've addressed the questions from the last hearing, but certainly go right ahead and ask your questions.
Actually, I do have one more thing that I'd like to point out that just occurred to me. So the wetland B, C, and D, the delineation that I've accomplished there, it's interesting because if you compare with the delineation that was on the plans how many years ago, Sev will tell me, apparently my wetland delineation is a lot more conservative there. And I'm sitting thinking to myself, that's probably part of, once you disturb the area, certain times the fringe kind of expands. And I think that's just what happened here. So the original wetlands were, should we say, slightly smaller than I accomplished in my delineation. I just wanted to point that out.
Thank you, George. Commissioners, any questions?
Yeah, Bruce, I want to ask James a question. I want to make sure I understood what you just said, in that you've reduced the amount of impact on the wetlands.
Yes.
So you thought that this could come in as an insignificant activity.
Yes.
But then you said something about a hearing. So
Well, I'm in a meeting. I said hearing, but it should have said meeting.
okay. I just want to make sure we're talking the same thing here. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
No, you're right.
Okay. I know I've got a couple of questions, but I'll go ahead. Rich, I'll start with you. If you've got any questions, comments, updated information.
question, how are the basements, water in the basements being handled? Are this gonna, you proposing sump pumps or, is there some type of drainage system? Or just, I know that's come up before.
I could answer those questions. We propose in some of the houses, we propose some pumps with and positive drainage to the drainage system from footing drains. On the homes near the wetlands, very close to the wetlands, like 94 and 95, we're proposing to have slab on grade, no basements. And so that's where we're going to come. So you have some pumps in some cases, you'll have no basements and footing drains connected directly to the storm drain, positive flow. Very few, if any, will be some pumps or pumps in the sense that they will be pumping out to the system.
Okay,
That's change. That's a change, Sev, correct? Because I think the plan previously showed quite a bit of sump pumps.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. Trying to make sure we're on the same page because I'm just trying to look for that sheet right now and I can't, unfortunately, cannot find it. The one with
If you look at the plot plan for 94, 95, the enlarged one, it clearly indicates slab on grade. And we will address each one of those lots in terms of drainage. We will be adding additional drainage structures in the road to accomplish the positive flow for gravity. And we actually may lower the roadway a little bit if it need to be.
the footage is not on here. Here it is. It's on the other sheets.
94, 95, the enlarged ones that I sent you today, they show slab on grade.
Oh, so okay, so that one shows slab on grade. I apologize. I didn't have a chance to dive into those very big. So okay.
It's evolving, as George indicated. We have evolving with this project.
the other question I had is on those 94 and 95. What's the distance from the proposed back of that house to your wetland disturbance line?
Again, that plan, plot plan 94, 95, Bruce will show the distance.
One second. Making some notes here. Get on back to that one.
That will show the distance from the house to the wetland edge and to the future edge, to the edge of the disturbed area.
So as I understand it, there will be no buffer zone between the edge of the wetland and the house.
I think there's a small area. Let's get to the print. I think we can show it to you.
Is that the sheet, Sev?
It's the plot plan, Bruce. The one that shows 94, 95. There was two samples, one for 83, one for 94, 95. It was sent to you today.
Yeah, no, hold on, slow down. You're going way too fast. I
Yeah.
got so many drawings for this thing. They're all over the place. So you gotta slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
Okay.
okay.
So this is the lots he's talking about here.
Yeah.
94,
Garage, slab. Okay, so slab, no elevation, no basement here, no basement there.
Says
the
slab
basement.
elevation.
Yeah.
325.
So I'm seeing 19.4 feet on both of them, 19.4 feet.
Jumped in there.
And yes, so that's what you have. You'll have a 10-foot patio. You'll have some green space, which at the most will be 19.4.
So that's showing encroachment into the wetlands here. So it's
Yeah.
12.2 stones.
For the boulders. See
Yeah,
what we
and then 19, and then 12.8 here. So
yeah, those are to the boulders. The distance disturbed area is 19.4.
exactly. But keeping in mind I think that what the commission wants to know is what space they have for a backyard as well. So
Yeah, those boulders are kind of exaggerated a little bit, and they could be boulders or they could be the formal wall. So you'll have probably 17, 18 feet of grass space, and in some cases more. That's the least amount. See how it comes to a throttle there? As you go south, there's more distance from the house to the wetlands.
Okay.
Yep.
Is there any conservation easement being proposed on either of these lots?
There was a discussion during the on-site that all the wetlands would be considered a conservation easement. That's what I remember.
Okay. That's all I have for now. Thank you.
Thanks, Rich. Dave?
A lot to absorb. There's a lot of changes. What is the new disturbed area, since you have 94 and 95 up here? What is the new disturbed area it was reduced from 900 something to what?
Bruce, if you bring it down
Yep.
a little.
Give me a second. I gotta get.
Yeah, I can tell you verbally that it was 903 square feet reduced to 450 square feet
Where is it?
for those two lots.
That's correct.
I don't see the number on this one. It's not on this sheet. It's on the other sheet. Oh,
All
yeah,
right. See
Right
in the
there.
box.
right here.
Yeah, there it
Okay,
is.
see.
Okay. And kind of the same question for, you reduced pretty significantly, I think, the area north side of Wetlands C. What were the numbers for that one?
That one was 310 square feet to 253 square feet. And one we eliminated altogether.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
I think I had mentioned last time that you should send in a letter to the National Diversity Database at DEEP. So,
Yes, you did. You did.
Because I think they're probably going to say something about turtles. They'll give you a protocol for construction techniques and stuff like that.
Yep. I made a note of that. Thank you.
I guess that's it for now. I guess when I was reading the town comments, there was one that particularly caught my eye. Looking at 94 and 95 and a couple of other areas close to the wetlands for smaller homes or lot revisions to increase the buffers. I guess that's kind of what you've been doing here.
Yes.
Okay. That's it for now. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Neil?
I'm still trying to wrap my head around this. A lot of new information tonight, so no questions from me at this point.
All right, thanks. Mark?
Yes, I have a question for George. He mentioned he went out recently to the site, and you were saying that the original time we were going to do a site visit, the area was pretty much inundated with water. So he took another look to see if everything was marked properly, and he said he added, I believe, 200 some odd square feet. I believe D, wetland D. Is it possible to show us where he added the extra square footage to the wetlands?
Well, I can help, but
If I heard right.
I need a map. So if you find D62 and D63 on a map, and I can kind of tell you where that is.
Sorry, what was that again? I'm trying to look for something else on my folders.
D62, flag D62 and D63.
D62, what, the flag numbers you're talking about?
You're right. I think I might be incorrect.
Hold on.
It's right there on the northeast side there.
455, 62. Here we go. 62, 63.
So right. So where the wall is, so you see where 61 and 62. So that little area that's there has expanded, but it is not going into a lot.
Mhm.
So it's just a little area that
There's their
and by the way, the reason I think that, and I was curious, and that's why I dug a bunch of holes, which delayed our sidewalk with the water that we saw. This, because the surface of the ground has been compacted, it retains surface water, and it shows. But once you break through, it's an upland. So that was what happened there.
All right. Well, the other question is for Bruce. When we did the site visit, I saw some photos. There was one I was in with Shannon, and I was just curious what house which house lot that was.
Wetland D. Oh, it's
It
around.
was Wetlands.
Sorry. Yep, no, and I thought I had the photo one here. Photos, East Leg right here. These right here?
That's the one. Anybody can from the applicant tell us what lot number that is?
Right there. It was lot let's see here, jump in. Can anyone read that?
I
for
know I
that one?
couldn't read it.
Lot 96, right there.
Yeah, okay, 96. I
That's
figured
where
it
we
was a
were
little further up.
standing. That's where we were. Go back to the beginning here. Way too many drawings up here. All right. Oh, right, 96. That was right here. So I have to go back to
Yeah,
his
okay.
alternative drawings.
Yeah.
I got the
Yep.
wrong one.
Well, go back to that picture.
Yeah.
I see where we are. So that's fine. If you notice, and maybe George can talk to this, we were walking around there. Where she's standing, the wetlands is, she's not even in the wetlands. I'm looking at the flag. And the soil around there and the leaves and everything, we're noticing that had to be underwater not too long ago. It was all the leaves and had discoloration to them, and the area around it obviously at one time was saturated with water. So if this is, I know they changed 94 and 95. This is 96, you're saying. This is the back of the house. The water is pretty much lapping at the back of that unit. And I'm a little concerned that there is no way there's going to be a backyard for these people and a wall and everything else. So I'm not too sure how this lot 96 is going to work. It might be in the same situation as 4 and 95. I just know where we were standing, that was definitely was wet at one time, very recently.
Yeah, and that's what I try to explain. That's why we had to go back out and take a look, because of all the rain we had and the fact that those areas are disturbed and compacted. They were just retaining surface water.
Yep.
When I was out there, that condition was gone, but obviously the evidence was left behind. So I had to check to make sure that I hadn't missed something, but I hadn't. So I don't know what the planner might say about what needs to happen there, so that we so that these houses are not wet in their backyards. But I expect that there's going to be a little bit of a reconfiguration of the grading in those areas.
I can answer.
I knew go ahead, Seth.
The distance from the back of the house to the wetlands in that spot is 22 feet. And you can see it on the proposed grading plan.
This is the alternative sheet, so 95, 96.
I don't show the alternative on the one I sent you today, but on this grading plan, if you look at 96 and you go from the back northeast corner of the house, where the patio is, to the wetlands, it's way more than 22 feet. As you come southerly, it's about 22 feet. And that little corner there where we show 93 feet of disturbance, right there is about 20 feet.
What are you talking? I'm confused.
Well, that's what George was explaining. He went back to check that area and confirmed that area where you saw possible water standing is
Right here.
Yes.
Is lot 96?
Yeah,
Okay.
That's the second disturbance talking about.
That's correct.
And
Yeah.
makes sense to me, because that is definitely an area that might be an issue. I don't know what they're planning to do, but obviously, some type of curtain drain or something to keep the flow of the water away from the property.
Yeah, there'll be a sliding
all.
grade in the back
Go
of the house, typical slope, so that the water doesn't go toward the house.
Mr. Chairman, I have no further questions at this time until I see more information to make a different maybe come up with some more questions, because I was prepared to make comments about what was being presented previously, and obviously things have changed. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Mark. Ned, I noticed you're online.
Yes, I am. I just want to confirm, like on what we're looking at 94, 96, you said that you were able to make improvements in the and lesser wetland disturbance by shrinking the size of the house, was it?
No, reducing the wetlands filling from 900 square feet to 400 some.
So you didn't change the size of the house at all?
The size of the house, it's already a small home.
Okay.
Like 28 to 41, 42, that kind of dimension. It's a small house. Some garages are big as that.
Yeah. And then my other thing is, when it's for the homes that you're planning, a stone wall, with a narrow patio or like a, what was it, 10 or 16 feet patio.
Info patio.
Yeah. So those are going to be individualized walls, or are they going to be, it's not going to be one long wall along that whole area?
That's right. It'll be in small sections in the back of each home. Yes, not a continuous wall. We want to make sure there's room for drainage, for the water
Okay.
flow.
So then you're going to have sheet flow across, like just going down to the water in between, in that area in between the walls. You expect to have sheet flow going down, or?
Yes, sheet runoff.
Okay. All right. So then I notice sometimes when you have the walls there that you start to get, when the water tries to get around the wall, you start getting erosion problems. Do you think that's going to present itself here, or?
It's a flat area. These kind of grades are not conducive to that. If it was a steep grade like 10%, yes, but this is like 1 to 3% maximum.
Okay. That's all I have for now. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Ned. Bruce, I'm going to put an onus on you right now, because my first question goes back to Andrew's presentation and using page 8 as a starting point on the maps.
Yep.
Because I have a significant question right now that is in my head.
Oh, sorry. Did you want me to go to that page?
Yes, I would like you to go to that page, please.
Sorry. God, which one is it? Elevations, alternates.
Bruce, that page 8 was, okay.
No,
Thank
I
you.
just have to find a document because I have so much open right now. It's still all
Yeah.
over the place. I just gotta find the right one. Here we go, sir.
Okay. My question, because I can't see the lots, but looking at the proposal that is before us,
Okay.
where did this map come from?
This map is a drainage map of the existing conditions today. Okay. So that just shows all the pods. I call them
Okay,
pods.
but I'm talking more about the lot layout. That's
Oh.
what I'm specifically
Oh, the
talking
lot
about.
layout? I don't know. I did not
Oh,
dive
I am.
into. Okay, I have a proposed lot layout, or I have the maps from 93, 90, 93. I have those if you want to go back to those.
No, I want to know about where this map came from.
Okay. I can't help you with that. Andrew?
No, but Steve,
Kurt?
Andrew's the one that brought it up, so I'm
Yep.
trying to get an answer on
Okay.
where this particular map came from.
Sure. This was from the information from the previous applications, and Bruce, maybe if you could zoom in on the title block, it's got the date and the firm, and again, it's the
If you
overall
look at-
drainage plan.
Andrew, if you look at this one, this is a Ken Harika mapping, I believe.
Yeah, it was Ken Ricka
Yeah, and that was done
a long time ago. Yeah. I think Chair, I think
that
what
says
this map did,
2019.
and unfortunately was he probably grabbed a map somewhere and the intent was to focus on the existing storm and develop that. This, I think I do remember seeing one of the old plans showing this kind of wide intersection at one point. I do.
Yeah.
That's in one of our old sets. So,
Okay. Here's why I'm asking.
all right.
Because if you look at the existing proposal and you look at this layout, is that Derby? Is that what the name of that road
Yeah.
is there?
Yeah.
How come there's only 3 lots here and you're now proposing 4?
I can answer that. This is Seb Bovino. We eliminated Belmont Lane, which we had 2 lots there, and we reduced road construction there, and we placed a detention area there, and we are able to get a lot, because as you can see, that lot there is much bigger than the others, so we were able to get a lot there. Overall, we're not increasing the number of lots.
No, but that goes to my point that I raised the last meeting I was at in terms of wetland B, C, and D. And my take is that entire area should all be included in a contiguous conservation easement area. So that's why I was a little concerned when I saw this map where it showed 3 lots off of that road and you're now proposing 4. So there has been some changes elsewhere on the site, which you are trying to recapture, I guess, one of those lots. And part of the reason why I'm still taking this position, and George, you actually helped confirm in my mind a little bit tonight, and looking at some of the work that was done on this site in terms of just using it as a construction area. To me, based on the aerial photos that you were looking at, that also showed it part of the reason I think why wetland B, C, and D are no longer connected because of the haul roads going through that area. And I'm not accusing anybody here of doing it, but I think that that's part of what my problem is in terms of looking at a conservation easement area over here so that all of the wetlands remain connected and not still just split up. So that again is one of my primary issues with what's being proposed here. And I think I initially had talked about, and I don't remember the lot number, but there was one of those 4 lots proposed up here that I thought one of them probably should be eliminated so that you could maintain a conservation easement all the way through. That's kind of where I'm still at, and I haven't heard anything to change my mind on that. So I can't read that lot where it's phase 6, the westernmost one.
Yeah. I really can't zoom in here because
Yeah, no, I understand
it
because
explodes. So
it's
here
a
we go, right here.
complicated map on that.
Right here.
Yeah, so to me, it almost looks as though with some of the changes that have been made, I've got my problems with 103. And I think that whole thing should be a conservation easement worked around there. Yeah, and including through 19. I'm sorry, through 99. That's kind of where I'm coming from. I still haven't seen anything that's going to change my position on that. I know that the conservation easement is planned over there. There's some mitigation work, which I strongly support. But I just have an issue in this particular area. I just think that over time, the wetlands have been broken up, and I don't think that that was ever anybody's intention, but I think that was the results of what happened on site.
So lot 103 is the one you're looking at, Mr. Hannon?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I wonder if it would be helpful to see the comparison of the previous delineation and mine to see if these wetlands were previously connected.
All right, give me 1 second, sir.
And because I got that question in my brain right now.
See, that's under this.
Didn't mean to do it this late, George.
Mr. Chair, were you
This
saying
is-
99? Robert, were you talking about 99 also besides
Well,
103?
99, they've made some changes over to 99. The lot's not quite as deep, I believe. So
Oops.
103.
So what I'm seeing here is that the
103 to 99 for the
Mhm.
conservation easement. I believe that's still, you've got enough area there for the lot.
Mhm. Yeah, the red was, this was a map that I had put together to try to understand how the wetlands have changed and where. So the red is a new expanded wetland and a green is a reduced wetland. So that's, the red is, I'll call it a 2023 new wetland, green is a 2023 old wetland. And that's kind of how, let's see here, if you look on the side here. So the blue was the 93 wetlands, the gray was the 2023 wetland. So that was the blue line I had added on here to try to kind of understand what was going on, and just so the commission can see how the wetlands have changed as well.
And some of this change is probably
That's what my
because of
primary concern is.
disturbance.
Mhm.
But they weren't connected before, apparently.
But again, you had the construction roads going through the site as well, so that may have compressed the soils too, and cut some of the flow off. You know, that's why when you were showing the maps earlier of some of the aerial photos, I was interested in where you were showing some of those travel roads or the construction roads.
Mhm.
And it looked as though where a couple of the roads were, those were the breakpoints between B and C and C and D. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's kind of what it looked like just from the aerial.
True, but Derby Run was probably where this disturbance happened, from what I remember. And okay, so they weren't disturbing wetlands there. I think they went through, right, exactly. So the wall is the wall. So the only thing that I see is that where Derby is the major run, and that was apparently sort of a construction area through an upland, and there's overflow. The only disturbance within a wetland that was that little loopy thing that goes through the right, that.
But if you look at that map, George, it looks as though the construction roads basically break up B from C and C from D.
Yeah, that's true, but
Maybe
the
not,
90,
it may not be right hydrogeologically, but just looking at this, to me, it almost looks as though that whole area at one point in time was consistent. I mean, it may have been altered significantly with the farm that was there, because Lord knows that's not an uncommon practice. That's all.
Okay.
That's
no, I get it, I get
where
it.
I'm coming from.
So 93 was the delineation done by whoever was done. And he showed, I'm saying it's he, might have been a she, but he showed the separation between wetland B and C at that time.
And it may have been a farm road. Yeah, I mean, I'm
True.
not discrediting that either. It's just
Yeah.
me, the visual that I have on it, that's where I'm kind of coming from. So
Okay,
it may have been related to the farming activities on the site.
yeah, I get it.
Mr. Chairman, Sev Bovino again. Both layouts, even the old map that you're concerned about, that you're referring to, that one has the road being proposed and being kind of accepted previously. So Derby Run, it will be constructed.
Right, and I don't have an issue with the road.
And the connectivity happens because between the houses there, you have a pipe that's going to connect the two wetlands, and there could be conservation easement on the left and right of the houses. And then 99, the portion of 99, that could be all conservation easement because really we can't use that anyway.
So
So
that's what I was referring to. Yeah, so I mean, it sounds like we may be close to the same page. Okay, so let me ask another question about Derby. And Bruce, I don't know if you've had any conversations with like the fire marshal's office.
Mhm.
But you've got Derby and you have, again, I can't read the other road.
Yeah, let me go back.
But they just dead end into a roadway. I mean, there's no cul-de-sac, there's nothing. So I'm assuming that there's no intent, one, to have those roads go out to 177, correct?
No, yeah, there's nothing, we would not want those to go out there.
And what is the fire marshal's office saying about equipment getting in and out of there? Are they okay?
Yes, usually they are, because our requirement is not four, I want to say, we're gonna check, I want to say 4 lots or more. We don't require a turnaround
Okay,
at all.
no, that's fine. That's why I'm asking.
Oh, yeah, and then the fire department always jokes around with me. They always say, listen, if it's burning, I'm gonna drive in. I'll figure out how to back out afterwards.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and there are other phases, Mr. Hannon, in the present development that also have the same type of dead end roads, previously approved, already built.
Okay, no, that's fine. Thank you. I just had a question about it.
Yep.
And then my last question may seem like a strange question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. My understanding is based on the discussion tonight, some of the lots may have sump pumps. Is that correct? Or the houses may have sump pumps?
Many of them, yeah, many of them have sump pumps. When the previous set that we had looked at, I know I know the applicant has made some revisions, he said, and they've actually reduced some of them. But I have not had a chance to, I don't have a full set of plans to know exactly which ones
No,
they changed.
that's fine. It's a relatively simple question because the reason I'm raising the issue is when, assume these homes are built and they go out for sale, does the company advise new homeowners that for their homeowners insurance, they better have sump pump protection? And I'm saying this from experience because the house I was raised in town is on the east side of town, and we still have major problems with the sump pumps at the house. It still periodically floods. And apparently, if you don't have a homeowner's insurance policy with sump pump coverage, you're on your own for damage. So I'm just wondering if this is something that, at least from a sales perspective, you at least advise potential customers that they should be looking into an insurance policy, homeowner's insurance policy that covers sump pump issues.
Yep.
Simple question.
Yeah, it's a good point, and we will bring it to the attention of the developer and the sales team.
Okay, I mean, because the last thing you guys need is somebody coming back after you saying, well, you
Yeah.
never told me and blah, blah, blah. You know, so
Exactly.
again, that kind of information up front can help everybody.
Okay, thank you. Good point.
I don't have anything else, but Bruce, I do have a question for you. Do we need to do something about significance tonight?
No, but I did, but I did ask in the email that we should address this by the next meeting, which is going to be November 1st.
Okay.
Okay. The plans you see here are the alternatives. We got these late this afternoon. I looked at them a little bit. Unfortunately, I think I need to talk with the client or with the client, the applicant a little more because I was having some confusion on the reductions that they were coming up with. Because I wasn't getting the same thing that they were getting like over on Wetland A. I didn't look like they were encroaching in there before, so I'm trying to understand what's changing. So I understand this is the big part, but I think I really need to sit down to explain to them to see how Derby's run and this area have changed enough. So, all right.
All right. I mean, we'll bring this up at the November meeting, but I will throw this out. Commissioners can think about it if they want or not. This is a sort of different situation in the sense that this is a set of plans that in essence has been approved through the court system. So in that respect, there's not a great deal that we can do. And from the perspective of a significant or insignificant activity here, I'm not sure what we would really gain by considering this to be a significant activity. I mean, in some respects, our hands are kind of tied with what we can and can't do. So I'm just not sure that we would get a whole lot out of it. So I'll leave that for people to think about. We can discuss it at the next meeting, but that's kind of where I'm going with this right now.
If you don't, Chair, if you don't mind me interjecting a little bit, I did get a couple of questions from the commissioners on this subject, and as I stated at that whatever meeting it was, that we did talk with the town attorney, and they had said exact kind of more or less what you're saying, but as you can see here with the changes in the wetlands, okay?
Yep.
The state statutes are clear that with changes in the wetlands, we now can look at this under our new regulations. So it's like a new application,
Okay.
new
All right.
regulation. So as you said, yes, I think there's a happy medium between everybody to make this work to the best of everyone's ability. So.
Yeah, so again, I'm just letting people know kind of what my thought process is right now. So.
All right.
That's all. But we don't need to do anything about it tonight, so we'll make sure that that's up on the agenda for the November 1st meeting.
And what I'll do is I'll upload those alternative maps to the SharePoint for everyone to see. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, commissioners. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
We'll see you on the 1st.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is Jones Construction.
We try to clear off some of this stuff as you see my computer starting to slow down here.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
this is Ned. I had a question. I stated it while my mic was off, but does the fact that in regards to whether we would have a hearing on this, does it come into effect that this is a large construction project and we're in the final phase of it? So as this certainly isn't a surprise to anybody, does that come into consideration for anything like this?
Again, I think it boils down to you have a situation where you go back to the original application that came in and the town denied it, but the court said overturned and the court approved it. So,
Okay.
I mean, I understand what Bruce is saying as far as where there's some wetland areas that had changed and it may give us some flexibility there. But I'm not sure exactly how much we have, in terms of knocking off lots. Because when this first came in back in 93, we did not have a 150-foot setback area. We had no setback area.
Mhm.
So the rules have changed significantly. But again, you have a court-approved subdivision. So, I mean, to me, I almost think what happens is you're sort of tinkering at the edges and trying to take into consideration current circumstances and see how that best fits in to what the current plans are.
Okay. I understand. Thank you.
So Bruce Jones Construction, we did not get anything in on that? Or it came in
We
today?
did. Yep. No, we did. I uploaded them. We received them on Friday afternoon, right? So I uploaded them at that point.
Okay.
And the applicant is on. So feel free to jump in and follow through.
Yep. Hello, Rick Jones here. How's everyone? Yeah. So last time we met, we walked the property. We showed you the clearing limits. You guys had a chance to look at the brook. I think any questions you had, I thought we answered them pretty good on that Sunday. So I mean, if anybody has any other questions or follow up, more than happy to answer them.
You have the engineer on to go over the changes in the plan?
Yeah,
that would be a good idea.
Yeah,
So-
he is on.
Okay, so we went through the comments provided by the planning and zoning and addressed the ones that are pertaining to the drainage and anything landscaping, anything to do with wetlands, and to go through those. We added the 50-year storm calculations and there was a comment to confirm 1 inch of infiltration for the entire site. So what we did was on the drainage and grading plan, we show an area of infiltration in each of the detention basins. So Yeah, not this plan, but the previous, I think, one or two back.
Here,
Oh,
these.
this one. Yeah, you're right. Okay, you got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah, so yeah, put in a like 20-inch layer of stone, to allow some hydrostatic pressure to form, and so infiltration can occur inside these basins, and then put in a little tiny berm. This area is kind of flat, so you don't have much elevation to work with, but just put in a 6-inch berm right across before the outlet, so that the detention basin actually works as a retention. It stores water and infiltrates it. So anything under 1.49 inches, I calculated, there's going to be no outflow from the two detention basins. It's going to keep everything on site. Combined with the underground infiltration that comes, the water comes from the roofs and goes into that. So together they work to infiltrate the first 1.5 inches. Yeah, there's some minor changes. The two catch basins at the western driveway, they're really low down. There's not much grade change from there to the brook, so you couldn't really do anything with that. So those still are, the way they are. I tried to, put in 8-inch PVC pipe instead of the 12-inch RCP, just to try to get some more clearance, from the road down to the pipe, and then to make the grade to the outlet there, the energy dissipation riprap. So I don't think there's anything else that really changed. Added some more details, calculating the parking and the landscape area and stuff like that. So a little more information, and added the straw wattle and some more details about how to establish turf in areas where it's a lot of fill coming in here to make the drainage work. It's gonna be a lot of fill there, so it's important to stabilize that fill as it comes in. And I think that's about it.
Chair, we received these on that Friday. We haven't had a chance to go through them very deeply. I think we're still waiting a drainage report.
Yes, yeah.
Are you getting that for us as well?
Yeah, I'll bring that in too.
Okay.
Tomorrow I'll bring it in.
I'll need that one, but I know we haven't done a full review at this point on the revised set of plans. So there are still some comments that I think they need to be addressed. So, I mean, as it says in the agenda review, I think we're looking for a determination of significance at this point.
Okay, so that's the only thing we really need to do this evening to get
Yeah,
that
and I would ask that the commission hold off on a vote until we can really get through these planned revisions in our comments. So.
Right, now understood, but there may be some questions. I've got one or two.
Oh, exactly, definitely.
So Rich, anything from you?
No, I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Dave?
Yeah, two things. I know we talked several times, both at the meeting and I think at the site walk, about hazardous materials management, given the proximity to the Farmington River. And once something goes down one of the catch basins, it's a pretty quick trip out there. Is there going to be do you have any written documentation as to what kind of materials will be prohibited at the site? And another thing is an emergency manual of some sort that would be made available to the tenants, I guess. Telling them what to do if there's a spill, who to call, and even it might be prudent to have on site some equipment that would catch a spill pretty quickly. Absorbent pads, maybe something to berm off the catch basins if something happens. Have you given any thought to doing any of those?
Yeah, I mean, I talked to my lawyer about what we're gonna put in the lease, and we could send something over to you guys on exactly what it's gonna say.
That would be helpful. And are you going to have like an office here, or is it just going to all be rental space?
I'm sorry, what was that? You kind of broke up.
Are you going to have an office here on site, or is it all going to be just rental space?
It's just gonna be rental space. I'm not gonna personally have anything.
Okay. So I don't know if it could be some of this equipment for a spill, make it available to the tenants in some fashion. Is that a possibility?
Yeah, I mean, we could have a spill kit, located at each building.
That would be helpful. Okay, one last thing. What I had said at the previous project as well. This site is in one of the natural diversity database areas, so you should send a letter to DEEP asking them, what species and what you need to do.
Okay, we will do that.
That's it for me. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Dave. Neil?
Nothing for me, thanks. I would thank the applicant for the time spent on the site walk. That was very helpful.
No problem. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Neil. Mark?
I also have no questions.
Okay, thank you. Ned?
Along the edge of Hyde Brook, there's like a wall mark or something. Is there a wall or a riprap wall or anything like that there? Or is that just the steep grade? It kind of keeps it separate. Yeah. What is?
The dark line with the V's in it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I just use that. I just picked that line to represent the ordinary high water mark. That's all it is.
Let's
Okay.
see. Here we go. Here you go, Commissioner. This is a picture
Okay.
right here. You can see the sides.
Sides. Yeah. All right. And these are all going to be slab on grade.
Yes, that's correct.
Is there going to be a need for any footing drains or anything?
No, no footing
Okay.
drains.
And are there going to be bathrooms on these?
Yes, yeah. Each unit is going to have a bathroom.
Okay. And that ties into city sewer?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. All right, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Ned. Yeah, I mean, Dave covered one of the questions I had, whether or not there could be any emergency response kits located here at the site. Has any consideration gone into like sealing the floor with an epoxy or anything along those lines, so that in case somebody does spill something inside one of the units, that it's not going to seep through a concrete floor and create problems for you guys down the road?
Yeah, so we are going to be sealing it. We're not going to be sealing it with an epoxy. We're gonna seal it with a product that protects against oil and salt. So when people mainly for the salt, people drive their cars in, it drips the salt. It doesn't deteriorate the concrete, but it also protects against oils too.
Okay, no, thanks. I'm glad to hear that you're at least thinking about that. I know that it was discussed about the floor drains, but are roof drains tied in with this?
Yep. So we do have roof drains going to an underground detention system on each.
Hey, let me zoom out one little bit black here. Yeah. Here's this building, they're tying into this system here. And the building over here, they're tying into this system here. So,
Okay. And then I thought, and I'm still trying to, even with my reading glasses on, I'm having a problem with some of the details, but there are a couple of catch basins on site.
yep, the drainage system is as such, starting in the back. Catch basin, catch basin, catch basin into the detention basin system. And then this overflow from the roof here comes around, picks up a low spot here in the lawn, cuts it across into this detention basin, which also takes the water from this section of the parking lot. And then this detention basin flows out. They merge at the outlet structure and go right underneath Britain Avenue.
And when I printed it off, I didn't print off all the pages, so this may be on pages, I think 5, 6, or 7, which I didn't see. Are there hydrodynamic separators being proposed on site?
No, there's nothing being proposed as a hydrodynamic separator yet.
Okay, now I'm raising the issue because of the proximity to Hyde Brook.
Yep.
So that may be something that needs to be taken into consideration. That's, I think, all that I have. But I do agree with you that, we need to get the comments in from engineering and make sure that everybody's on board with all of the comments. And if the town has some conditions that they're looking at, the applicant is either willing to go along with those or can talk to town staff to work out a solution. So, so are we looking at the site walk to determine significance? So again, I was not able to make the site walk because I'm still out of commission for some of those things for a while. But what's your thought about whether or not this is or is not a significant activity? And if you feel like voting on it tonight. So Rich, I'll go back and start with you.
I'm sorry, Bob, I didn't hear you.
I had to double check to make sure I wasn't muted. So no, just double checking with folks to see whether or not they feel that this is or is not a significant activity, and if we need to go with a hearing on it.
I would lean toward a non-significant activity.
Okay, no, thanks, Dave.
I'm leaning in the same direction.
Okay, Neil.
I agree.
Okay, thank you. Mark.
It's not significant.
Okay, thank you. Ned.
Yeah, I think in part due to the adjacent to, the town public works, and there's a lot of commercial activity in this area already. I don't think it's significant.
Okay, and my 2 cents is I agree with you guys. So would somebody care to make a motion that this is not a significant activity? And Bruce, if you want to cite the section of the statutes, because I don't remember much of anything right now.
No problem.
So move, Mark. Not significant.
Is there a second?
Dave will second.
Okay. So we have a motion that the application for Jones Construction LLC, lots 8556 New Britain Avenue, does not constitute a significant activity. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, abstaining. So we're squared away for this one right now, Bruce. We're just waiting now for any changes that we may have on the plans, the town doing its review.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Town of Farmington, Mountain Spring Road.
Yep, we have Dylan Riley, our civil engineer here at the engineering office to
Is he actually under his own name right now?
yes, he is. He kind of threw me off with that. I thought the town manager's office was calling for something. So, all right.
No, yeah, I apologize. I had to use their account for another meeting last week, and I evidently didn't switch. I was actually in the middle of switching accounts when the screen popped up, and it kind of surprised me. Anyways, good evening, members of the commission. For the record, my name is Dylan Riley, here for the town of Farmington as a civil engineer in the engineering department. From the last meeting, I have nothing new to add to our proposed drainage plan at 155 to 164 Mountain Spring Road. At this time, I can take any questions from the commission members or town staff.
Okay, thank you. Rich, anything?
No, I don't. It was covered pretty well at the last meeting. I don't have any additional questions.
Okay. Thank you. Dave?
No questions.
Thank you. Neil?
No questions.
Okay, thank you. Mark?
No questions.
Okay, thank you. Ned?
No, I just thank the efforts that they made to try and increase the shoulder area where it was available. But I think it was pretty well covered last meeting.
Okay, so I don't have anything either. So it was determined that this is a non-significant activity, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And nobody had any new comments. I mean, I noticed items to consider erosion control consisting of silt fence and straw wattle. Is that incorporated into the plans, Bruce, or is that something that we should just?
Part of the conditions of approval. I think I have that in there.
Yeah, I do have the silt fencing marked on the plans with a simple line. It's called out. If you look at Mountain Spring Road, the right above the word spring, if you go up, that leader there is leading to the silt fence.
Yep, and then and then in the items to consider, I had said erosion control shall consist of both silt fence and straw wattle in this area here. All right.
Okay, so it doesn't sound like anybody has any heartburn over this application. So I think we're at the point where somebody's willing to make a motion to approve the application.
Ned, I'll make a motion to approve the application with the stipulations.
Okay. Is there a second?
Rich will second.
Okay, so we have motion on the floor to approve the town of Farmington project on Mountain Spring Road between 164 Mountain Spring Road, with the primary condition that erosion control shall consist of silt fence and straw wattle. That was it, right, Bruce? I think.
Yep. The other thing I wanted to reiterate is Commissioner Simpson was not here last meeting, so unless he's looked at everything and he's at it and he feels confident to vote, he'll have to abstain.
Okay, so have a motion.
I'll
on the floor.
abstain. That's no big.
Okay. So have a motion on the floor to approve this project. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposing, abstaining.
Yeah, you know who is. Yeah.
I
me.
know.
Mark.
I'm just letting you have a chance to speak your voice there. You know?
I didn't mean to exile you.
The shame.
The shame. We like to keep things clean here, you know. All right.
Okay.
Is he on?
Next item on the agenda
Was
is Frederick Cornelius, 1509 Farmington Avenue, requesting a determination for regulated activity as of right for work done without a permit.
I think the applicant is on here.
Yeah, I saw him earlier.
He needs to unmute himself.
Oh, is that unmute himself? Sorry. Mr. Cornelius, if you're there, you gotta unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. There you go. I got your application on the screen, if you could see it, and I have the plan. I got the narrative and your plan here. So if you,
Well, there's not much I, can add to what's in the narrative. It's just my position is that since it's a residential property and it's such a small thing that's going on, 30 yards of redistributed area on the berm there, that it's matter of right under the statute and under the Farmington regulations, and that because it is, that a permit isn't necessary. So I don't know how much else I can describe for it. If a permit was necessary, then the plans would be, more detailed. But since a permit isn't necessary, I don't think the plans are really detailed.
just so the commission is aware, I have contacted the town attorney. I forwarded all the information over to them, and I've requested a formal response for the commission on this. So I have not received it yet. I was hoping I would have it for this meeting, but I said if not, we'll have it for the next meeting.
I said before, Bruce, I thought it was a legal determination, so I wasn't sure how procedurally how to do this. So that's where we are with it.
All right. And I do have some photos for the commission if anyone's interested.
Yes, please.
You want me to pop them open? All right. Okay. Come on. Here's some. Oh, that's apple tree. Yeah, that's the wrong ones. Sorry. 3 wells. What are we on? 4? I always forget. 5. 5. Oh. In the right one. I could have swore I downloaded the new photos here. Give me a second. May have put them in the other folder. I apologize here. Where did I don't know why they're not here. They're probably right here. I just can't see them. There we go. All right. This is a view from up top looking down the river. There was the opening in the berm. All right. That's on the property adjacent to them. This isn't on his property. This is the area of the old foundation over in here. You'll see as I go around. Here's the opening in the berm, the blocks, and the erosion control. This is on the other side, along the river. This is the fill that was placed in there, the rubble from the foundation. This is a rock. This is a rock jetty out into the out in the water. I got a picture out there. You'll see there's a few other ones to kind of get an understanding of what the area looks like. So this is the fill right here that was pushed out. Again, panning, looking as I go up the river. Fill all in here. And this is on the adjoining lot up there. You could see these rocks along here that just kind of like jet out into the edge of the river. And it also jets out into there as well. And then looking down here, this is that one that we just showed, the jetty. You could see down here, there's some more rocks and stuff, but this is all the fill that was placed down here. So the edge of the river, I can't tell you exactly, but it's somewhere in here, I think. It's hard to tell where all the material got pushed. So
there's still vegetation between what was put there and the edge of the river, Bruce.
Let's take a look. I got some more pictures. So this is looking up the river again. Here's the fill right here. I mean, this is the edge here. I mean, if that's where the edge was before, I can't be 100%, you know. But you can see something along here. Possibly this may have been an old edge right in there. So, but you can see where the fill was pushed all into this area here. And that's some of the backfill or some of the old house foundation and pipes and stuff. So those are the most recent pictures I have. Chair, I think you're trying to talk. You're on mute.
Okay, sorry.
No, I wasn't sure if you were talking. I couldn't.
What I'm looking at is the application itself. Page
Okay.
3 that came in with it.
Yep.
Was the town of Farmington GIS map, which I believe shows the floodplain. You have the edge of the river. You have the little area that's done in pen or pencil, excuse me, to show where they're trying to do some of the work. But it also shows, I believe, where the floodplain is located. And that's what I just want to verify.
Okay. Where did it get saved? It was in a different meeting. Give me a second here. There you are here. All right, so I have the GIS. This is the aerial. So this is just the GIS aerial itself. Okay.
Yeah.
This one too. Here's the FEMA one right here. So 100-year flood here. Or sorry, floodway, 100-year floodplain, and then this is the 500-year up in there. And that is roughly where the old foundation was, right in that area.
That's what I wanted to just double check, because with what was submitted with the application on that third page, it shows sort of a darker purple area, and that's going to be.
Let me go back to what.
But the area that's in that purplish hatch area, that is actually floodway. That one right there.
Yeah, that one. Okay.
So, is it?
That was the wetlands map.
Is
yeah, that may
what
be
this proposed area is.
No, yeah, I think like he's saying, I think that's the wetlands portion. If you look at the wetlands map that I gave you. Come on, it's thinking. Oh, it's jamming on me. Yeah, it's jamming on me. Let me shut it off and go back in. Try that.
I just want to make sure we're all talking about the same thing. So.
Yep. Yeah, see, that's the wetland area. I think when this is our GIS wetland map. So I think this is what it looks like when you have the photo on. What he submitted.
Okay.
Is just this without the photo, so it's a different color, and the printer probably he used probably wasn't
okay.
Oh,
so that's probably the delineation of the floodplain. I mean, that's kind of what I'm guessing as far as why it might be a wetland soil. That's all.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get a better perspective in terms of how much of the site is in the floodplain, out of the floodplain, because again, the approximate scale is 1 inch equals 50 feet on this map. So if you go 3 inches to the northeast of that line, the darker colored line, that's all part of the setback area or the upland review area.
Yeah. This is the found. I kind of been using the house as a gauge.
Yeah. Okay. All
right. That house.
Thank you.
This is 133 feet from here to here. Oh, sorry, 45. 133 to there, and then it's 45, I think, here.
Yeah.
We can
Okay,
do
no,
this.
okay.
You know what? Let's just do this for, let's make sure we're all on the same page here. Backyard. So, boom. So. So the foundation is roughly 77 feet. The back of the foundation is roughly 77 feet to the edge of the water, 77, 80 feet.
Okay.
All right. So that area, as you had said, and as we had said, that whole, all that area of disturbance down in this area is all within the 150-foot upland review area.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Bruce, I mentioned to you that this part of that application was dealing with just that one specific area that seemed to be the area of greatest concern. And that
We're just trying to understand, everyone's trying to understand where everything is at this point is what they're trying to do. So.
Okay. So, Ned, you have
Yep.
questions, comments, concerns?
Well, I mean, I'll wait to hear from the attorneys, but I don't think this is a right, to push the fill into the river. So that's where I'm leaning.
as I said, it didn't go into the river.
Okay. It looks like it did from the photos. That's just my opinion.
Okay. Thanks, Ned. Mark?
This is not owner's right. Whether it go in the river, you're not allowed to encroach on waterways. You're not allowed to put things like what he put there so close to the waterway. It's boggles my mind to think this is his right to do. I used to live on the river further downstream. I used to chew through here. It's very pristine, this area here. I'm just not too sure what the person was thinking. That's all.
All right, thanks. Neil?
Yeah, Mark and Ned have kind of, said eloquently where I am on this as well. I don't see this as owner's rights. I mean, we can wait for the attorneys, but I also go back to something that Bruce had said early on, that the owner had actually approached the town and asking if a permit was needed and was told yes, it was. So I don't know how this becomes his right.
Okay, thank you. Dave?
Yeah, I have problems just as everybody else. It looks like the fill was actually introduced into the floodway, which is probably a whole other matter that should be looked at. Also, the applicant cited section 4 of our regs regarding the uses of right, but subsection D of that same section says, in order to carry out the purpose of this section, that the person proposing the permitted operation or non-regulated operation shall, prior to commencement of such operation, notify the agency in a form provided, and provide the agency with sufficient information to enable it to properly determine whether it is a permitted or non-regulated use. So this should have happened before any of the actions happened. But at least we have an application before us now. That's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Dave. Rich?
Yeah, I would agree with everyone else, but placing, I mean, separate from the whole inland wetlands issue. which obviously we're very concerned about, is placing fill material in a floodplain. That's a problem in and of itself, not only for this property, but it could affect properties upstream and downstream. So that's a real issue. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. I mean, I agree with everything that everybody said so far, but in looking at part of the explanation that came in about the approximate area that the applicant wants to improve, if you take a look at that description and take a look at the pictures that originally came in, we're way beyond what's being proposed by the applicant or what he's claiming to do here. 12 feet by 32 feet by 2.5 feet high. I mean, that you're way beyond that with having the backhoe down there and all the other work that was done.
Go out and measure it.
The other thing that I kind of take offense to is you state that you will stipulate that the wetland area depicted on the Farmington GIS mapping attached accurately depicts the affected area as a wetland area, and also only for purpose of determination of no jurisdiction. I'll stipulate that the soil composition is the proper determinant of a wetland area because these determinations are irrelevant. No, they're not irrelevant. That's the basis of this whole issue. So I have a problem with your hypothesis there. In looking at the amount of work that was done, again, this is something that should have come into the commission first. If you were initially talking about putting in or moving some dirt around for a small area, there could have been erosion sedimentation control measures suggested. There could have been some plans suggested in terms of what to do, so everybody had a better understanding of what it is you were talking about doing on the site. That would have made life a lot easier instead of just going in and bringing in the backhoe and starting to do a whole lot of work down by the river. And I'll agree with one of my other colleagues. It does look as though some of the erosion that occurred from the site due to the site disturbance, some of that material has actually moved into the river, and I have a major problem with that. So that's kind of where my position is on this. So my question, Bruce, to you is we are waiting for a comment from the town engineer.
Town
Town attorney.
Town attorney, yes, sir.
If we opt to wait for the town attorney's response, I'm fine with that. But one of the things that we would still have to do is have a motion on the application, and I believe we would have to accept the application. But again, I think it's probably in maybe our best interest to wait for the town attorney's opinion before we render any type of decision one way or the other.
Yes.
But I will also go back and I'm looking at the application itself, and to me, the application seems to be incomplete. Total area of wetlands on property if known. I mean, the response is not known. Soil mapping units not known. Area within wetlands or water courses which permit is requested. He's claiming it's not applicable. Area within the regulated upland review area for which his permit was requested, claiming it's not applicable. I've got a problem with that. I just don't think that the application was filled out accurately.
Okay.
So I'll also throw that out. So do we need to do a motion to approve the application to get the process started?
Accept the application.
Yeah.
And then
Accept
we
the
have a discussion of whether we want to do a site walk as well. So.
I mean, I think some of us have been out to the site. I don't know if we need another one, but I'll
leave that up to you guys.
Yeah, let me go back. Rich, I'll start with you. Do you think we need another site walk?
No, I don't.
Okay, Dave?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, Neil?
No.
All right, thank you. Mark?
No.
Ned?
When did we have a site walk on this? Was I away or something?
No, we haven't had one out there. Not one recently. So
Oh,
I thought we did.
I'm sorry. I thought we did have a site walk.
I thought we did.
not on this one. No.
Yeah, I don't
Maybe
remember.
maybe it was. You know what, Commissioner? I wonder if you were because did you do one when he came in for that cease and desist last time?
Yes.
Okay, that's probably what it was. That was back in whatever 2017, I think it was.
Oh, no. This was recently.
Yeah.
I thought, I mean, I'm pretty sure that I was out there. I thought Eisner was there as well. But again, my mind's playing tricks on me, so.
That's fine.
All right.
Um,
Well, I would vote for a sidewalk, but I'm not gonna. If I'm the only one, I'm not gonna make everybody else go out.
I would go if we had one, but I think the pictures are pretty clear. But if we do have a site walk, I would go.
Okay.
And Commissioner, if it's only one or two, I can handle that. We can actually schedule that and just walk, get down there and show them. So
I think I would jump back into that as well.
Yeah, why don't we go ahead, Bruce, and go ahead and then schedule it? I mean, I can swear I've been out on the site, but maybe just looking at the pictures, that's what I'm familiar with. But I thought I was out at the site.
all right, no problem. This weekend I think it's going to be out with the rain on Friday. I mean, yeah, Friday and then into Saturday. Sunday, unfortunately, I have something personal, so I would have to wait to the next weekend, or unless we want to try to sneak it in. It is a quick walk, and it's right across from the town hall, so something after hours, where like around 5 o'clock or so would be good. So
Yeah, try crossing Farmington Avenue.
I'll stop the
Yeah,
cars.
I'm out of town next week.
You're out of town next week. Okay.
Yeah, I'm here on the weekends, but just Monday through Friday I'm out of town.
Oh, Monday through Friday. So it'd be a weekend of 28th or the 29th. So
yep.
If the 28th. We got to get a break on a Saturday for no rain at some point in time.
Cross your fingers. Keep open. So, but yeah, I mean, both of those days, I think I'm free. If whoever wants to come, does any of those days a bad day?
I'm probably better with Saturday, but I probably could make both work.
Yeah, the Sundays have been I know some people have been affected, so I was like, Saturday, I'll do. I'll send out an email tomorrow, but Saturday for 9 o'clock. All right.
Okay.
How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay.
What's that date?
10/28 at 9 a.m. And I'll send out an email. You guys can check your calendars anytime and then get back to me. But I'll send that out and we'll try to get this wrapped up this week. Okay.
Very good.
Thanks. So now the other thing I need is a motion to accept the application.
So moved, Ned.
Is there a second? Going once?
I hesitate because it's, as you pointed out, such an incomplete application.
Well, that's true too.
What happens?
Bruce, one of the guys mentioned that a form that was supposed to be submitted. Is that a different form than what was submitted?
No, this is the form that should have been submitted, but it should have been submitted before you did the work.
Okay, I understand that.
Yeah,
That's
something totally separate. But like I said, I think as a commission, you accept the application. Again, you're not accepting the work, you're just accepting the application. And then after that, your vote, you rule on the, on the application. If you feel the application was not adequate or was not fully complete or accurate, then you could actually deny it based on that. But I think in terms of the commission, there needs to be a formal action acceptance of this application and then follow up with a formal action. So
Yeah, that's my reading of the statute.
Okay.
Well,
Okay,
on the
I'll
web,
second it
but
then.
I would rather do this on the safe side.
exactly.
Okay, so we have a motion to accept the application from Mr. Cornelius for 1509 Farmington Avenue. Wetlands application. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstaining. Okay, so this will be on the agenda for November 1st and follow up with Mr. DiCrescenzo to see if we can get a response by then.
Okay.
Okay,
Sounds like a plan, sir.
okay.
Close this one out. All right. Is Val still here? The owner still here for 504? He was on.
Seems to be.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, he's still here. So we do have the owner of the property for 504 Main Street on next.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, yes, I'm Val, owner of 504 Main Street. Last week, I was not able to attend the hearing. There was discussion on what type of plant material, I believe, was to be placed. I guess there was a disagreement on what type of vegetation, I should say. I also was late to send out Bruce. I think he got it the next morning. I spoke to the person who actually cleared the property. And I sent pictures of what he sent me from the aerial to Bruce to what actual trees were removed on the property. I don't know if you have that, Bruce, to put a show.
No, unfortunately, I don't think I have that here. If you, I could go back to my computer. If you want to keep going, I'll see if I can find that email. All right. Hold on one second.
Thank you, sir.
Go ahead.
I lost my place. Basically, also there was an issue stating ownership of the property, which I've been working on immensely, due to the fact the one heir of the property. Well, I don't know if you guys are aware of the whole situation. The original owner who owned the property passed away much long ago. He had a son, which I was talking to the daughter of the son, who was power of attorney of his life. He also passed away within about a month ago, which left which apparently by my attorney standards says terminated her power of attorney automatically.
Yeah, it does. Unfortunately, a power of attorney ceases upon a person's death. So, yeah,
Yep.
right.
Which has been putting me in a loop after a loop. So,
Never should have.
yeah. But now what the attorney's trying to do, he's talking, because I did the title search and all that, the property I have, which was done a while ago now. So now they're having to go back, I guess, do a probate for the original person that died. And then now the original owner who died back about 50 years ago, now to the father, his son that died about a month ago, which he also had sibling that passed earlier in life prior to the original owner's death. And they have 5 nephews and nieces, and the one who had the power of attorney that lives locally still has 4 siblings. So we have to go through the whole line and have every single person sign. And that's where we've fallen with that, but we're on it. That's what I can say, you know. And he's also working with the title company to see if there's any way around it, but I still haven't had a response from him yet. But also, what I'd like to show with Bruce, got it yet, that email. Well, I sent him, I got from the actual person who cleared the property. He showed what actual trees were removed. He said there was actually just one in the actual upper review area. Also, what else I'd like to say? I'd like to remind the commission also that as of the wetlands review that I hired twice, that there is nothing in the wetlands. This is all upper review area. I'd like to remind the commission. So far, that's where I am. I just wanted to let you know I still show up, just so I am trying. I'm not trying to, forget this, but
Val, I have a quick question for you. One of the things that we were talking about the last time the commission was anyway,
yes,
was I know at some point in time, an idea was thrown out about putting some potential parking
yes,
on the area, to the south of your building, which is part of this area that we're now discussing.
correct, sir.
What we were trying to get out of that was a rough idea as to if there was going to be parking going in there, where it might be going, because I think that had a potential impact on any of the plantings that might be looked at by the commission. And the reason being is I think everybody would rather have this thing done once and not have to go back over and over and over again. So it doesn't do any good to have any trees put in where you're going to have to take them down to put the parking. So we weren't looking for specifics in terms of the final parking plan, but at least if you had an idea of where the parking was being proposed,
Okay.
It might help everybody.
Yep, I understand. Another thing with the issue with that is we don't know where that drain is going to fall. You see that main drain, the state drain that's the whole reason. That drain, as me and Bruce discussed originally, it might have to get moved over completely. So that might change the landscape again. And I didn't want to present something that's not accurate.
Yeah,
And
no, we were just trying to get a rough idea to try and maybe help with the solution. That was all.
Yeah, no, I understand. I understand. Well, in this picture, if you could zoom in, I don't know if you guys could see this clearly. There's a second picture that I showed. These are the actual trees that were removed, that were actual trees. And there was a second picture. You see how you can see the area where that's actually not tree. He said these were the actual trees. The one he circled actually falls into the 150-foot upland review area.
This one?
Yes.
No, Val, the 150 foot goes all the way up to the road.
If you go back to the map, there's 200 and the one they engineered.
Yeah, give me hold on, give me a second here.
Sorry.
Oh, that one. You want to go that one? Hold on.
Right there.
Yeah, there's the red 150 foot up.
300
goes up to here.
Was that possible? I thought it was 150 feet.
It is
150 feet from the wetland
that's
area.
100
The wetland. So there's.
That's 150 feet there.
How did that happen? Wait, are you talking about Plainville? Because Plainville has a different setback situation.
I'm talking about Farmington.
Yeah.
Right here, 150 foot upland review from the wetland line. Takes you right up through here into the.
Hold on a second. There's, I think, an accuracy there because if you're looking at the wetland from Plainville, see that line, the town line there? Yep, right there. If you actually see from the drain to the street, there's over about 260 feet. So,
all right, hold on.
I think there's an inaccuracy there.
No, I don't think so. I think you're just.
No, I measured. I literally.
Yeah, look at it right here. Yeah, hold on. I'll come right here. This is our aerial mapping. So. You come
Yep.
from here, the wetland is approximately there.
Keep going because it goes to the edge. You see the edge of that building? That's where that bump out right there in the corner. There's the actual.
That's, there's,
Yep.
there's the bump out, but the
Yep.
wetland pushes out. See how
Yep.
the wetland pushes out?
Yeah,
So
another
this-
30.
This is 150 feet from here to here. So yes, it may not be from there. You're
Actually,
probably
I'm not sure.
from the back parking lot to here.
I don't
The
want
edge
to
of
go.
the road is roughly 250. So yes, that's
260
250.
is what I got.
But the
But-
wetlands kicks out to here. The wetlands kicks out to here. So you're in that 150 foot
Okay, so
upland
can you
area.
measure from where you think you showing where you were saying? From the middle up to the front, it's still over 150 feet, I believe, correct?
No. No. Because when you look at there, there's the edge of the building. Here's the outlet of the pipe. Okay. The wetlands comes in from that point into here. Okay.
Yep, right there where
So,
you're,
yeah. So if I come to here, here's the corner of the building, you're out to here roughly, again,
okay.
plus
go
or
from-
plus or minus. I'm 143 feet.
You didn't go to the total, but okay. Yeah,
What do you want?
No,
So
no,
here
I-
to the road is 197. So pretty much the whole property up here is in the 150 foot upland review.
yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Your map actually comes out to the road that showed, that's why I was saying there was some kind of, it was misconception there, I think.
I don't think so. I think it's right. I guess
See how yours comes out to the road there? The 150 feet, the red line, right? You're saying?
this is Ian's. He flagged the wetlands, your surveyor located it. And then
Yeah.
they added offset of this 150 feet, and that's where this comes.
Yeah, to the road. That's why I said it was, I think that's inaccurate. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's okay. We're not here for that right now. We're here just to understand that. If you could go back to the other pictures where the aerial view is, with the site guy said.
This one?
Yes, and then the second one without the markings, where he showed, that's the actual trees he said he took out. And then,
Yeah, this is all I got right now. So what the other one just doesn't show those, you're saying?
yes, and you could see that there were actual, well, if you see the other picture, it really depicts the actual trees and not in a bush.
I'll do this too. Let's just do this.
You don't have that other picture I sent you? I prefer the picture I sent, because the one you showed me last time didn't seem to add up, so show the same. Do you have that other? Or you just,
Well, you send me all these little pictures every so often. I have to go back into my emails and find the one. Hold on.
it was on the same email.
Yeah, hold on. Let me just look at the map here. Give me a second. He's using Google Map, the same thing that's what he has. It's the same thing. So if I just put the aerial on here.
Well, the map that you depicted didn't actually show, it looks completely different than the one he showed me also. That's why I asked. See, it doesn't really show. It shows like that you could, when you see the leaves on the trees, you could actually see what's a tree and what's not.
Watch this. Well, here we go.
I hear you. Yeah, but this is showing the front. Like I said, that area is the tree line, front.
Yeah.
But
If I
behind
come
it,
back, I can look at it from here.
Mhm.
The trees all in here.
Mhm.
Oh, come back this way now.
Can you show the picture that he sent me?
Which?
The aerial that I sent you? No, there's two.
I have to wait. I'll have to see if I can find it.
It was on the same email. If you scroll down. Oh,
Just for information, I use Bing Maps more, and Bing Maps happens to show it as a very heavily wooded. But it also has to do with the time of the season too. It's difficult. You can see it's heavily wooded, but you can't really see how large a tree is.
And Bruce, according to the map with the measurements, all of that is in 150 foot, correct?
Bruce left the
Looks
room. He went to
No,
look for.
okay.
I mean, basically looking from everything I'm seeing here, he clear cut the entire thing, whether they were big trees or small trees.
Yeah.
They clear cut the entire upland review.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
seeing the same thing.
Well, the issue, what I was trying to say is the site guy stated, he's saying that it was bush behind the tree line, he stated.
Doesn't matter what it is.
Okay.
Clear cut it.
Yep, it was clear cut by the site guy. Also, like Ian said, there was nothing of significance. It was all,
That's.
It
Here's your
was
photo.
all in the upland. It was all in the upland review area, and it was
Yeah.
clear cut.
yes, not all though. I'd like to recheck that. I might have to do a video or something. Maybe next time I could show it. Because you say 150 feet. I'm gonna double check. And I just want to make sure myself. Because I could have swore I did do a measurement. It didn't reach to that point. 150 feet when I measured only came up to that near the front of the building. But like I said, it is what it is at this point, and we're trying to rectify the situation.
So this is the map that you're talking about. This is the second map in
Yeah.
there.
Yes.
Right.
The trees that are depicted, you could actually see there are actual trees in the front, lined up to the front, and then the sides there. Everything else was small, tiny.
But also this, I mean, I think this picture is a little more clear than the overhead picture. That's for the commission to decide. You know?
And all that came down, and all of that we believe is in the upland review area.
Yes, based on this plan.
Yeah.
Going back to here, there's the wetland. There's the 150-foot upland review. There's a
Yep.
little tag of property right there that probably is not in the upland review. Everything else is in the upland review area.
Right.
I think where he's going off with that upland review at the end there is pertaining to the Plainville side of town there. I think that's where he's getting that. I could see it from there. From the drain.
150 line in the middle of the page is in Farmington.
Yeah.
It goes across your building to a red line, and it actually says 150-foot upland review area. It has nothing to do with Plainville.
Where Ian, I think, see the drain where he's coming out on the Plainville side of town line. That's what I mean by that other red line that's going out into the street. I think that's where he's counting as 150 feet. That's why I was looking at it. It didn't make sense to me when I was trying to measure on the Farmington side. It didn't add up, but I see where he's saying now.
Doesn't matter where the wetland is, the 150-foot buffer extends into your property.
No, but I meant by Plainville has different, I believe, setbacks for the upland review area, correct?
I don't know their regulations.
I think it's 50 feet or something in Plainville. But that's not the situation at hand. The situation at hand is trying to recorrect the situation. I guaranteed the property there's no erosion. We made sure that we cleaned up the property. I cleaned up tons of trash on the property, which you're well aware of. There is no more erosion, like I said. I guaranteed that. There's a blockade of hay bales. Once again, nothing in the wetland review area, which was guaranteed by the wetlands specialist. Everything in the upper review area, I don't really know. And I'm just waiting because I can't even fix that drain issue where the collapsing wall is until I can actually own the property. Plan on going from there. Also, I stated, I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's definitely an issue with the flow of the water I don't know if I believe it's coming from the river. I don't know if there's a major blockage down river. I don't know who that falls on.
It may just be that because this has been such an unusually high rainfall year that things are just backing up in all the rivers across the entire state.
I explained that to him because when this area, and you can see the Pequavic comes across, let me get my bearing straight here. So it meanders, it kind of splits off.
I did try to walk the river a bit, and I
in
noticed
this area, and this area gets inundated because, as you know, the Pequavic backs up. So a lot of this area becomes inundated, and then over time it just slowly drains out, and then it all just recedes back. So
I noticed a lot of down trees going further down into the Pequavic. I couldn't walk into it too much, but I walked it a bit. I didn't want to start entering people's properties, but I did notice a few down trees. Also on my end, and going downriver, there's a few more down trees into the property. But I don't know how that even works. I figured wait till they actually do something with the drain and try to figure that out. Is there any questions from the commission you could answer?
Questions?
Bruce, and so I'm trying to figure out where we stand on this.
I'd like to see a schedule. I understand the property issue. That's one thing. I know the commission did ask for verification from the property owner for approval. I understand that's a situation that is unfortunately not under his control.
So I can't use owner rights, right?
Hold on, I'm not, please just let me finish.
I'm
The
sorry.
next thing is, and I'd like to see a schedule on the on the plan. I know the commission wanted to see the revised plan, kind of showing the parking area blocked out. So I'd like to see a schedule on when that could be submitted for the commission to review. I know we were trying to get something planted this year. Unfortunately, if the owner's rights of not being able to contact them, find the right owner, doesn't happen anytime soon, we won't be able to get anything planted this year. So it would be a spring planting. But I definitely would like to see a plan drafted or revised for the commission to review, approve, and ready to implement at the time.
For the parking, it did come up. I don't know if you missed it, if you were out of the room. Remember when we talked about that drain? I don't know where it's gonna set. So I don't know where exactly how that would land with the parking and the actual, and I didn't want to state something until the actual engineer writes it out. But once again,
I think that falls under the same thing. I think if you're looking to move that pipe, that engineer can relook at that pipe while he's designing, while he's showing a parking area and design everything all at once. That's what the commission is looking for, because I know that you're looking to repair that wall as soon as possible, because it's going to fall in and you're gonna lose your parking area. So that seems to be a rush for you. So
absolutely.
I think they need to look at that. And when they're designing that, block out an area for parking that you think you're looking for and show that, and then show some additional trees around it. That's what the commission is looking for.
Okay.
And that could be subject to change in case the state has to come in and redo the state drainage system there. So we're not looking for a final detailed plan, but just give us an idea of where you're looking to put parking in.
Okay. And the issue I'm having with the engineer, he's reluctant to push forward because of the ownership issue. That's where I've just been chasing my tail on this one. But I am guaranteeing you that I am trying. I have been pursuing. I have the attorney on it and waiting on different answers. And I was going to talk to you hopefully tomorrow, Bruce, if you have time, to see if there's other options on the table I can do with this property.
Options for what? I mean, what are we talking about?
The attorney told me to ask, but he said if there's other ways, I don't know.
For what property? The 504 property or the vacant parcel?
the vacant parcel where the work is being done. To force the hand, basically like an emergency situation, especially for the drain. Because that wall is collapsing, and it is collapsing the parking lot, and due to that could collapse the building. on
Well,
that
Val,
corner.
but I don't understand why that stops the engineer from drawing up that plan. The ownership issue has nothing to do with it. You tell the engineer to do that, he'll draw it. I mean,
Okay,
and
I did.
it's just a note of, yeah, the owner of the property has to approve it, but this is what we're showing. He's not
I understand.
mandating it gets done.
Bruce, I spoke to my engineer. I told him to do it. He said, you should own the property first, is what he's telling me. That's right. But I can tell him again, I could show you my emails. I have been saying these things. You know, or you want me to hire a different engineer, I can do that. So, you know.
I would suggest maybe a quick conference call tomorrow. We could talk about the use of the property and talk about his concerns with the property. But I would like to see, I think the commission needs to see a revised plan and approve it, because at this point, the property is in limbo. There's nothing happening. We have a violation and we need to keep moving. As I don't feel we should be waiting, because at some point, what's gonna happen is, I don't want to be reinventing this whole thing in the spring when all of a sudden now you have the ownership and we're going backwards. Let's get the plan done in the file. When it's ready, we can go. I mean, there's things you could do on your property. As you see, you own, go to that map. Let's see, what do you own? So you own up in here. So
Yes.
is there anything you could do up in here? I don't know, But
Well, that was gonna be the proposed, most of that was gonna be a proposed parking area. That's what I was actually going for. And then you figure a drive-through is gonna be coming through where that drainage area is. That's
a drive-through, what kind of drive-through?
well, a drive around. Well, basically up against the building, that area was paved originally. They used to use it as I was just gonna widen it out, maybe.
That needs a permit with the wetlands commission. So that's why I think it's important to get the drainage shown on there, whatever you're looking to do. But I mean, in the meantime, this thing needs to be restored. I mean, yes, we have some grass growing on it, and you have a partial restoration plan that the commission wants to see, or that wants to see revised. So I think we need to keep pushing with that. You need to keep pushing with this drainage design, because if not, you're going to lose the parking lot. And then next thing you know, you're going to be behind the 8 ball when all of a sudden now the parking lot has collapsed, and now you're going to be trying to get an emergency meeting put together to get this fixed.
Well, that's why I was gonna ask you tomorrow if there's anything we could force the hand just to get this, some kind of way. I don't know. Prior, because if you've seen it's collapsed, you can see it's not gonna last much longer.
Well, schedule a conference meeting, call with your engineer, yourself and me, and we can get next tomorrow or Friday.
Okay.
All right.
I'll try to get in touch with him and I'll let you know what his availability is, because like he's
I'd
a
like to
tough
have
guy to do
something
this with.
into the commission by November 1st. I mean, actually a little
Yeah,
bit
yeah.
before that, but that's kind of, I think, what we're looking at. So we have some idea where we're going with this going forward.
Excuse me, Chair. Sorry, I missed the beginning of that. It got cut out.
I'm just saying, I think the commission would like to see something by the November 1st meeting, so that we have some idea as to what's going on, and at least have some sense of where this may end up. I mean, granted, I understand that there are circumstances going on that are outside of certain people's control. However, you still need to have some idea how we're going forward. I'm looking at like the beginning of November to have something in place.
Okay, I agree. We only have one meeting in November. And then after that, it's going to be December 6th. So.
Okay, I mean, I think we've kind of
Okay.
beat this one up tonight, so.
What I'll do is I'll have a meeting with them and I will update the commission. Okay?
Yep,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
Just in terms of hitting the up and down button. I want
Huh?
to know if George is still on the line.
Oh, my aching head. Oh, sorry.
Ah,
So what brings you here tonight, George?
Sorry? Oh,
What brings you here tonight?
apple tree.
Okay, let me just quickly go. Bruce, do we really need to do anything on Cornelius right now? I don't think
Nope.
we do because.
no, because that's being tabled until we vote on his application.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, so George, that probably just saved you a half hour anyway.
The next is the council, is the schedule for the meetings for 2024. We don't have to accept it till the November 1st meeting, but we're throwing it out there. If anyone has any bad dates, let us know. We tried to move things around for holidays and things. So if you're good and they want to vote, then we can vote, but that's up to the commission at this point.
I mean, we all know there's going to be stuff that comes up for some of us that we're not going to be able to make some of the dates, but I think these are probably about as good as any.
Okay.
So I'd be happy to entertain a motion to accept this as the
Can you-
Wetlands and Conservation Commission schedule for 2024, because it's
Can
for
you scroll down a
conservation
little
as well,
more?
right?
Yeah. Okay. That's our normal thing. We have one meeting in December, one meeting in November, right? That's
Right.
normal. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, not every month can be August.
You want me to do more? I could do 3. We'll do 3 or 4 those months. I could throw more on there.
No.
God knows at this point we could
How
fill
do you
the
really feel,
agenda.
Neil?
We could do it once a year, whether we need it or not.
There you go.
All right.
Are these at, I think I read, are these at town council chambers?
We still show it as the council chambers, but it's an online meeting. So, I mean, I think we talked about it last year, but at some point we're gonna need to talk about this again, about bringing it back. So,
Yeah, I saw that. I thought maybe that was the move by seeing that. But maybe I didn't pay attention in the past.
No, and just remind commission members, when Bruce brings it up, hit your mute button.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up.
Okay,
okay, so I don't know if we got to vote on that yet. Did we?
Yeah.
We
I
got the
got a
motion.
motion to approve the proposed 2024 schedule for the
No,
Conservation and Wetlands Commission.
you can entertain a vote, right?
Yes.
Or I mean,
Sure, absolutely.
entertain a motion. Okay.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Dave will second.
I have a motion on the floor to approve the proposed schedule of the 2024 Wetland and Conservation Commission meetings. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Hi.
Opposed, abstaining. Okay, one less housekeeping things to deal with, Bruce.
We'll find something to put on the next agenda. Don't worry. The way it's been going, it's been so busy. All right.
Okay, this is where
504
George comes in.
off,
Planners
off.
report, 9 Apple Tree.
Nine Apple Tree. George, I have some pictures of yours. Give me a second.
Yeah. And while you're doing that, let me interject a little piece of information on Mr. Cornelius's. Based on the USDA and RCS mapping of wetland soil types, the bottom portion of his property is oaken. It's a 101 mapping unit, which is a floodplain or alluvial soil, which means, if that's correct, it's regulated as a wetland.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so finally, today was the day. We had some excitement out here. As Bruce probably told you, the plants were all planted in one area, and so we had to unplant them and plant them in the proper areas this morning. So I cannot guarantee that all these plants are going to survive. So we're going to have to do a tally next season and see what's growing, what's not growing. But as of the afternoon, they had planted everything where I told them to plant them. So I went around and basically given the positions, including the perennials, which, again, it's not the proper time to be putting in perennials, but they'll probably be okay, at least some of them. They did seed with the seed mixtures. I did have them put some annual ryegrass just to have quick civilization. Also that, and you can see that they were starting to put the final course of straw hay on it. And they said they were going to water everything, but I had to leave. So hopefully that's what they did.
So George, I'm assuming by your comment that you just made that they said they'll water everything, is the irrigation system was never put in.
The irrigation system has not been put in yet. The little flags of where they're supposed to go still out there, but I think they've been concentrating for the most part on the house. There's been all kinds of activity and crews in there, but the backyard's still a weed garden more than anything else, so they haven't done anything. So according to what we had said is, we'll let the winter season go by, this will be protected, and then come spring, we're going to have to come out and monitor and inventory and see what survived, what didn't survive, and that depending on what survived and what didn't survive, we'll have to do some additional planting. They did have all the original plants there for the most part. And I think there were a couple of small substitutions, but the count was right. It just we're not in the right place. Even though I told them, wait until I get there. And I got there and, you had witch hazels 1.5 feet from each other, all three of them. Yeah, it was quite a sight. So
George, do you have a count of what plants and everything so that in the spring when we go out there we'll be able to compare it?
Yeah.
You have a physical count. All right.
I have a physical count when they brought the plants on site. The proper amount was delivered. So, and I also have the table, so we'll be able to go in and count and say live, dead.
Okay. All right.
And see what, I suppose if 90% is there and doing okay, we're good. If not, we'll have to supplement. So that's it.
What do we want to do on this did we do a 3-year on this one? I don't remember.
Usually, I don't
In the
know.
plan, I think
either.
I think it was in the plan. So
Well, that
think it
sounds
was
like something I would say.
yeah.
And since this was just done, I'm not going to put a memo in this year unless you folks tell me you want a short memo for the file.
Can you repeat that, please, George? I didn't catch the first part of it.
Typically, if we're doing the monitoring, usually I go the next year, not the first year of implementation. But if you want a memo sort of saying ABCD, this is what happened as far as the file implementation, I can put something in for the record, or this is the record.
Oh, this is recorded, so we have your voice on tape.
Okay.
I think that's probably going to be sufficient.
All right,
So our next inspection will be sometime spring of 24, right?
Yeah, I'd say let them at least a month of spring go by so we can see what's happening, what's growing, what's not growing.
Right. So what I will do is I'll put a note in my calendar then. All right.
Yeah, by tax day.
Okay.
That would be
All right.
But, you know, it was a bit like pulling teeth, but okay. Now we've accomplished what we said we would.
I was telling George out there today, we talked with the attorney about a week or two ago. The lot line map or the lot line revision map has not been filed. He was not aware of that, so he's working with the surveyor to get it fixed and get that map filed.
Was it, did they think the sale went through or whatever?
No,
The
just
transaction?
No, it just sat on the someone's desk. It didn't get filed. He said, "Oh, it was filed." I said, "No, it wasn't." So he went through his file. He goes, "Oh, it wasn't filed." I went, "Exactly." So he's pushing through to get that done. So,
Okay, good. That's one less issue there.
and I think we had talked about an easement over here as well, didn't we?
Yeah,
Talk about a conservation easement. Let me go back to my notes.
we
I think we
did.
talked about a conservation easement.
Yeah, I thought we did.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, folks. Thank you so much.
Thanks, George.
Jay, the
Thank
rest
you,
of
George.
whatever's left of it. Okay.
Thank you, George.
Until next time. Bye-bye.
I just have one other thing under the Kakiwik, or
Yep.
under the planners report. I sent out that email. The Kakiwik conference is coming up November 11th. Some of them, some may be familiar, some don't, but I sent the link. It looks like it's got some pretty good stuff if anyone's interested.
Yeah, the wetlands law is probably more insightful.
Yeah, I saw that one too. There was helping commissioners evaluate responding issues, resiliency, conservation commissions, and they give all the breakdowns here. So it seemed like there was some talk. There was a note. There was some information on the pollinators as well. So there was a lot of things in here. I think that the commission, some of the commission members would like to go to. And I think you can sign up for one of the sessions only if you want. You don't have to do the whole day. So, but it is a Saturday from 8 to 3:30. And it's right in Bristol, right by
Yeah.
ESPN. So
That's a whole lot different than where did we have to go before? Down in
Went to one in
it's almost like
Cromwell.
Brantford or something. I mean, it was down in the boonies.
so
So
It was
this is
online
probably
last
better.
year, wasn't it?
yeah, it was online last year, I think.
Yeah, I ended up
But the
watching my
fee,
screen.
I don't have it here. I don't think I have it here. Yeah, the fee is different if we're a member. We haven't submitted our annual dues yet. So if anyone wants to go, get back to me as soon as possible. That way I can get us signed up for our dues and get the reduced rate as well. Okay?
Well, I'm thinking about it. There are a couple of classes that would be worthwhile taking, so.
Yeah. So I sent you the link. This is in the link. It breaks down every individual class and each session. So they break out the workshops kind of oddly here. So you can meet a session and just hit everything. So
Yeah, I got Janet's email directly, so.
yep. And it comes with lunch too. So where's it in here? Is it in here?
Oh, well, in that
Comes
case.
with lunch and there's
And
the keynote speaker.
comes with lunch so somewhere in there. So
Can we just sign up for the lunch?
where is it? It was in here somewhere. Yeah, one of the
Can't read
things that
that
was in there.
fast.
So all right.
Thank you, Bruce.
All right.
So my
That's all I
suggestion
have
to
for-
people would be take a look at it, and if you're interested in going, let the planning office know by the 1st of November.
Mhm.
We don't want to get yelled at again for having submitted everything late.
2 minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes
Thank you, Ned.
For a second,
Mabel second.
and the sidewalk minutes with that.
I don't think we're doing them this time.
No, we didn't
Oh,
do those
no.
yet. Yeah, the
Oh,
other ones
okay.
were late, so I don't want to. I did those out. I said, look, let's just get those
Oh.
at the next meeting.
Yep.
So,
All right, the regular minutes.
Okay, so have a
Okay.
motion to approve the October 4th, 2023 Wetland Commission minutes. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, abstaining? Aye. Close this meeting at 10 o'clock. Start Conservation Commission. I think the only thing we have there is approval of the minutes of October 4th, 2023 Conservation Commission meeting. Is that it, Bruce, for that?
That's all I have.
Okay, so I can get a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Well, second.
They have a motion on the floor to approve the October 4th, 2023 Conservation Commission minutes. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining? Thank you much for your stamina tonight, guys.